Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning. No favoritism in the vaccine rollout. The shipment of 20,000 doses arriving in the country now. Opposition leader Davis promising televised BPL hearings, and Disney promises $800 million GDP boost over 25 years. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's here. It's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Thursday, March 11th, 2021. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Laverne Gardner will be joining us. Also, this morning, we're going to be talking about a very innovative program here the Dignified Girl Project. We'll tell you what they do. And coming up in Morning Blend Business, we're going to be talking about minimum wage and the proposed minimum wage hike for the private sector. We're going to be talking with the National Tripartite Council about that this morning. But first, it's time for the Overnight, the latest breaking news from while we're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, Prime Minister Dr. Mena is saying the government will begin its COVID-19 vaccine rollout next week following a trial run this weekend. A batch of 20,000 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine donated by the Indian government arriving in the country yesterday. The Prime Minister is saying they've completed the IT program to ensure the registration of individuals so the entire system can be transparent. They're following protocols that have been set up with the World Health Organization, and that the whole world will be familiar with what they have done. Prime Minister saying on Tuesday, the heads of 3 major healthcare unions in the country said they had not received much information. Asked to respond to this, the Prime Minister saying that he's more concerned about getting the vaccine out to the public, quote, so that we can get back to normalcy as quickly as possible. As the vaccine rollout commences, the public will receive more information from the government, according to the Prime Minister. He says that he has been in constant consultation with health officials. Yesterday marked the arrival of the first vaccine in the country, nearly a year after it confirmed its first case of COVID-19. The government is also expected to receive 33,600 of the 100,800 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine, which was secured through the COVAX facility by the end of the month. Healthcare workers and workers of the uniformed branches will be among the first group of people to receive the vaccine. Earlier this week, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention outlined its guidelines for what fully vaccinated individuals in the U.S. will be able to do. When asked if the government is working on similar guidelines for this country, the Prime Minister said, quote, yes, I am in consultation again with my advisor, Dr. Marceline Dal-Regis, who is communicating with the entire committee. The PLP government will hold publicly televised hearings into the affairs at BPL, according to PLP leader Philip Davis. He says there's been one bad decision after another at BPL, and that this has cost the Bahamian people dearly. He says there is no accountability and no transparency. He also mentioned the rate reduction bond, and that this will add more to our electricity bills. And that there appears to be no plan to reduce the cost of electricity to absorb that. He said, quote, in short, something smells fishy at BPL. A Haitian man accused of trying to get 2 Bahamian passports by fraud freed on $6,000 bail. 48-year-old Elard Bitard of Marsh Harbor denying charges of conspiracy to commit fraud by false pretenses and 2 counts of attempted fraud by false pretenses when he appeared before Chief Magistrate Joanne Ferguson Pratt. Bitard was arrested on March 2nd when he went to the passport office in New Providence and allegedly attempted to get 2 Bahamian e-passports in the names of Alice Bitard and Hal Tharsi Bitard. He pleaded not guilty to the charges, though, through an interpreter. As a condition of bail, he must wear an ankle bracelet and report to the Marsh Harbor Police Station on Tuesdays by 6 p.m. A trial date will be set on May 6th. And Disney's Lighthouse Point project in Luther will increase the Bahamas' GDP by at least $800 million over the next 25 years, according to its environmental impact assessment. The project, which came under fire from environmentalists, is expected to be completed by the first half of 2024, pending approvals. Overseas, when the World Health Organization declared the coronavirus pandemic won a year ago today, it did so only after weeks of resisting the term and maintaining that the highly infectious disease could be stopped. A year later, the UN agency is still struggling to keep on top of the evolving science of COVID-19 to persuade countries to abandon their nationalistic tendencies and help get vaccines where they're needed most. The agency making most costly missteps along the way. It advised people against wearing masks for months and asserted that COVID-19 wasn't widely spread in the air. It also declined to publicly call out countries, particularly China, for mistakes that senior WHO officials grumbled about privately. That created some tricky politics that challenged the WHO's credibility and wedged it between two world powers, setting off vociferous Trump administration criticism that the agency is only now emerging from. Well, U.S. President Joe Biden's support for WHO may provide some much-needed breathing space, but the organization still facing a monumental task ahead as it tries to project some moral authority amid a universal scramble for vaccines that's leaving billions of people unprotected. And the images ricocheting across the planet, as so many do in this dizzying era of film it, upload it, and tell it to the world, but images shot across barricades in Myanmar showing just what's happening there from behind bushes and through smudged car windshields. People are dying and the world is watching. Filmed by participants on the ground and uploaded sometimes immediately, the protests and crackdowns are reaching millions of handheld devices around the planet almost immediately. As of Wednesday, more than 60 people were dead from the government crackdown on mass protests in the country. After a coup early last month, nearly 2,000 are estimated to be imprisoned, and media outlets are being targeted. Some journalists, including from the Associated Press, being taken into custody. That arrest also captured on video and widely shared. In sports, when pressed for response, Bahamas Association of Athletic Associations President D'Amico Archer says they see no other alternative than for NACAC to push the athletics meet back. NACAC President Mike Sands saying he prefers not to preempt the official announcement today, but it seems CARIFTA will be pushed back today. It'll be the last resort for the meet in 2021, adding that it would have to be canceled after that, similar to what took place in 2020. You can read more about what's going on in today's Guardian Sports section. Overseas from the NFL, the NFL's salary cap will be $182.5 million per team in the upcoming season, a drop of 8% from 2020. The league's loss of revenues due to the coronavirus pandemic caused the first decrease in the cap since 2011, which followed an uncapped season. Free agency begins next Wednesday, though the legal tampering period starts Monday. The NFL is close to agreement on extensions of its broadcast contracts, but those deals will not affect the season, the 2021 season. At least the current cap is $2.5 million higher than projected last month. Last summer, the Players Union and League agreed to a cap minimum of $175 million, and that number jumped by $5 million in February and was set by $182.5 million on Wednesday. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. In your weather for today, we've got a robust high-pressure system just north of the area that will continue to aid in producing these fresh to strong breezes that we've been seeing for the past few days, along with choppy seas as the system slides eastwards. Meanwhile, a weakening frontal boundary will gradually shift northwards, enhancing shower activity across the southeast Bahamas through tonight. Got a number of warnings. Small craft operators in the southeast Bahamas, you're being urged to remain in port, and beachgoers should stay out of the water across all areas due to high seas, rough surf, and dangerous rip currents. Boaters in the southeast Bahamas should also remain alert due to the threat of water spouts associated with the front. Drivers and pedestrians should exercise caution while on coastal roads along northern and eastern shorelines. For today, for the northwest and central Bahamas, expect variably cloudy and warm conditions, windy as well, with light passing showers through tonight. The small craft advisory is in effect. Winds northeast to east at 20 to 25 knots, but gusty at times. Seas 4 to 6 feet near shore, but building to 7 to 10 feet in gusts over open waters. For the southeast Bahamas today, mostly cloudy and warm, windy as well, with widely scattered showers and the slight chance of a few thunderstorms along the frontal boundary through tonight. Small craft operators should remain in port due to swells. Expect gusty winds in or near heavy showers or thunderstorms. Winds northeasterly at 20 to 25 knots, seas 7 to 10 feet, but up to 12 feet in moderate northeasterly swells. It's about 70 degrees right now in Nassau. Look for highs getting up to around 79 Fahrenheit, 26 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 66 Fahrenheit, 19 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have your extended outlook coming up after traffic in just a bit. When we come, it's time for a break, but when we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Your home for fresh news and smart talk all day.
Technology serves to make our lives better, so why not your business too? At Custom Computers, we've been maintaining our knowledge and relationships with top tech companies since 1987 and carry only the most trusted brands like Apple, Microsoft, HP, and more. No company has helped more businesses build reliable IT systems than Custom Computers. You name it, we've done it. Call 396-1101 to talk to any of our business experts. Find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
Always on the go? Missed the show? You can now listen to Guardian Radio talk shows anytime, anywhere on Spotify and YouTube by searching Guardian Radio 96.9 FM or by entering the name of your favorite show. You can also listen by logging on to GuardianTalkRadio.com and clicking on the podcast tab. Guardian Radio, continuing to provide you with fresh news and smart talk anywhere, anytime, all day.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's here. It's the start of the end of the old way. Revolution. Wake up, it's a new day. 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 Wake up, wake up.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. Also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Joining me now, Laverne Gardner. Good morning, Laverne.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. Great to have you with us as always from Grand Bahama. Hope all's well up there.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, we're going to be talking quite a bit about Grand Bahama this morning, actually, based on what was said in the House of Assembly yesterday about the hotel there and the airport. So we're going to get into that in a little bit. But there's going to be a lot more to talk about this morning as well.
Looking forward to it.
Yes, and you can join the conversation on Twitter at MorningBlend969 or Facebook, facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Email us, morningblend@nasguard.com, or you can text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC, 422-GR96, 422-4796. Standard text rates apply. Coming up this morning, more weather and traffic. And as we said in our 8 o'clock hour, we're going to be talking about the Dignified Girl Project. This is an interesting project that we're going to get some details about that and the work that they are doing. And about something that many people might not be thinking about, unfortunately, but they need to. We all need to. That's coming up. And then in our 9 o'clock Morning Blend Business Hour, we are talking minimum wage, in light of the opposition saying that if they are elected, they will seek to raise the private sector minimum wage, make it more in line with the government sector minimum wage, and getting the views of the National Tripartite Council on that this morning. That's coming up. But right now, it's time to talk about what's in the news. In the news, the vaccines, the first ones are here, and the Prime Minister promising no favoritism in the vaccine rollout. The first shipment, 20,000 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine arriving in the country yesterday. A donation from the government of India. The Prime Minister having a lot to say about this. Take a listen to this report from our Kyle Joaquin.
United Airlines Flight 1456 from Newark, New Jersey touched down at LPIA around 11:30 this morning, carrying precious cargo, 20,000 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine. Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis happily touching the packages after weeks and months of waiting. The vaccine doses now in a storage facility in an undisclosed location. There is currently no clear date on when people can begin signing up for the vaccine, but the Prime Minister says rollout trials are set to begin this weekend.
This weekend, they would run a trial run, and next week, vaccines should be rolled out. We have completed the IT program to ensure the registration of individuals so the entire system can be transparent, and we're following the protocol, and we would send our protocol to WHO so that the entire world would be familiar with what we have done.
Healthcare workers, residents, and staff of elder care homes, as well as non-ambulatory residents registered in the public healthcare system, are set to be among the first to receive the vaccine. Dr. Minnis assuring the rollout will be transparent.
Done so that there can be no possibility or question of any one jumping the line or showing favoritism to this one or the next. It would be totally transparent, and you would have that information available to you.
On Sunday, Minnis said 33,000 of the 100,000 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine that the Bahamas secured through the COVAX facility will be in country by the end of the month. But today's arrival is a donation from the government of India, which had representatives from the Indian Association in the Bahamas present. Dr. Minnis addressing concerns by public health stakeholders over a lack of consultation on the rollout.
I think today I'm more concerned about rolling out the vaccine and getting the vaccines delivered in the arms of the Indian populace so that we can get back to normalcy as quickly as possible.
The Prime Minister not passing up on the opportunity to mention Junkanoo, stating he can't wait until the big show is back on Bay Street.
One of my happiest moments, other than this, will be when I can say, Junkanooers, friends, colleagues, get ready for Christmas. Let's rock and roll. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Reporting for the Guardian News Network, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
Okay, we'll get to the Junkanoo comment a little bit later. But let's talk about the arrival of the vaccine. This first step here before others arrive later in the month and over the next few months. Some interesting things said by the Prime Minister when asked about the concerns of the healthcare professionals. Let me read that quote directly, as you heard in the report, though. He said that he was more concerned about getting the vaccine out to the public, quote, so that we can get back to normalcy as quickly as possible, though he said that he has been in constant contact with the healthcare workers, but okay. All right. Sure, that's great. Although I did say yesterday, I think everybody could calm down a little bit. Let's just work on this week and figure out how it's going to go. We have already been told the healthcare workers will be among the priority groups. So I'm sure it'll all become clearer now in the next few days. Although it could have been worked out from days ago, sure. But we're going to get there. We're going to get there, I'm sure. What do you make of that Junkanoo comment there, though, Laverne?
It's just, I don't really make anything of it other than maybe some sort of pandering to the Junkanoo lovers, and I believe that the Prime Minister is one of them, and so that's his way of letting them know, hey, I support you guys, and I am just as excited to be able to have Junkanoo this year. So, to me, it's just one of those things that you say, just so that somebody knows that you're on their side, right? That's how I see it. I don't see it as anything more than that.
I just felt it was not necessary. It just felt like it was out of place and awkward. It was so awkward. But often he is awkward.
Remember, we have to make sure that everybody is included because we don't know when the election is going to take place. So we want to make sure all of the factions and all of the groups knows that I'm on their side. So let me just give a shout out.
Okay. All right. Sure. Weird stuff. We're dealing with some serious issues. I don't know if that was the right time. But hey, we've heard worse and more, even more awkwardness.
Maybe it was just a way to bring a little levity, I guess, to the to his interview.
Yes, I'm sure that was the intent.
So that was perhaps the thinking behind it. It didn't really take away from what he was saying about the vaccine, other than you were probably like, where did that come from? But, like I said, maybe it was his opportunity to bring a little levity to show that, hey, I'm despite maybe past experiences with me in interviews, I'm a good guy. I'm a funny guy.
Okay. All right. And as we reported earlier, asked about what the CDC did in the U.S. about saying the protocols for vaccinated people, how they will be able, they will allow folks to gather in small groups, vaccinated people to gather in small groups. Asked whether we are looking at such guidelines here, says they are working on it. They're working on it. And Quote, we have been following the science throughout the entire pandemic. We were advised and we were guided by the science and the professionals, and we will, again, continue to follow those guidelines. So they will put out the necessary guidelines, and we will follow them. That is a quote from the Prime Minister. Okay. All right. Let's get your views on this, folks. They are the first 20,000, which we believe that's the two doses. So that's really 10,000.
10,000, right.
We'll be able to get that first batch there. What do you make of this? 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796, 422-4796. Let's go to the phone lines. Good morning. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Mr. Strachan, how are you doing, sir?
Doing well. Good morning.
Mr. Gordon, how are you doing?
Good morning.
Mr. Strachan, first of all, I am calling over where I invited because I don't take lowness. Can I speak in show this morning?
Sure.
Pardon me? You sure?
Yeah, sure you can.
All right, then, I mean, all right, first of all, it's supposed to be 30,000. And number two, the biggest insult, the senior doctors, the nurses union president, and the doctors, they don't know what's going on. So, I mean, so you think it's make any sense? On the world, you could bring a vaccine in this country, and this Doctors Alliance, the Nurses Union president, and the doctors president don't know what's going on. I mean, you see the foolishness that's going on. Going on in this country today. What happened? This is a stage show. This is a show just to vaccinate certain amount of people, and then call the election and tell the people then to talk open up. I mean, people see what's going on. Mr. Strachan.
Yeah, we're listening.
You heard the phrase, "Whatever you do for God is last," right? Do not let Ava Turnquist and Kenya Dames have you harassing your guests, okay? Marvin Dames and Peter Turnquist is big growing man, okay?
I don't understand what you're saying. You lost me, as usual, again with nonsense. Okay. Oh, God. All right. Let's go to the text messages. 422-4796. What I don't understand is why the photo op at the airport and not have people lined up to take the shots as the vaccine comes off the plane. Well, no, why would you do that, though? Why would you do that? You can't do that. I agree with you. Perhaps the photo op was not necessary, but you can't have people at the airport to get it. Now, come on. They're going on to say it's only 20,000. Did not need to store them if we had our act together. Well, I don't think you can just immediately just start doing that.
Right. But, like he said, they have to do, like the Prime Minister said, that there's a trial first. And you want to have a trial run, because if you don't have that trial run and then they just said, okay, we have these 20,000, let's line off these 10,000 people, and then it's not working in an orderly, systematic way, then there are going to be complaints that this was not organized properly. So you can't just go directly from taking them off the plane to, okay, guys, we're ready. So there's a process.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And rightly so.
That would have been insanity. So let's get it together. Remember when we've tried things before, how it didn't work, and we had to find out the hard way. So we don't need anything like that. So no. This text here. So if you're not vaccinated, you can't go to Junkanoo. well, he didn't say that, but I mean that's interesting. That's an interesting thing to take from that.
So I don't know if I'm gonna. And I'm just putting this out there. Of course, I don't have any information, but based on that comment, does it mean that Junkanooers will probably also be first in line when the other vaccines, not the donated ones, when the other vaccines that we've paid for comes in, I think by the end of this month or next month? According to your report. So does it mean that Junkanooers will be among the first set? Because they need to be in the shack and we need to get everything ready and prepared. Just asking.
That wasn't mentioned in the first three phases they did outline before, but I'm sure many of those do fit into those categories. So, interesting. Here's a text here. The Prime Minister said he can't wait to get Junkanoo back and not wanting to get Bahamians back to work. What? What are you saying? That's not what he said.
I guess maybe they're just trying to say it would have been maybe more appropriate to focus on getting Bahamians back to work. as opposed to making the Junkanoo comment.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
probably
that is true. That is certainly true. As I said, it didn't seem right. It seemed out of place, but okay. So, yeah, I get you now. This one here, don't you think the Junkanoo shout-out means that we will be okay by December, seeing we have the vaccine now and we can all celebrate and come together? Perhaps that was what he's trying to say. Perhaps that is what he's
in a
trying to say.
roundabout way.
Right.
Give us a little hope.
Yeah. This one here, I'm excited that the first doses of the vaccine have arrived. It's the first step to getting back to some sort of normalcy. India is known as a pharmaceutical hub and has donated vaccines to various other nations. The nasty conspiracies regarding India needs to stop. The government should have sat the various unions at the vaccine rollout planning committee from the get-go to ensure they're in the loop. Now, that does make sense. It is
Agreed.
surprising they didn't have
I agree.
Right, representatives on the committee. That would have been helpful.
Right. It's just like the healthcare, what they're talking about, the union. I think it's the healthcare union, that they weren't consulted. And, if these are going to be the people that you're going to be using, or they are stakeholders, the right thing would be to have some sort of consultation. At the very minimum, send out a memo,
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Here's another text before we take that call. Any company that tries to develop... Oh, okay, that's a different thing. There's no science. Everyone is winging it. Texas, who had one of the worst cases, are still open and wearing no masks. China was open months ago. Okay, I don't know why you bring up Texas. I'm sure they're going to regret what they've done at some point. But everyone's advising them to calm down and to not do what they've done. So I'm not sure why you're pointing to them. And even after we get vaccines, we're told we're going to still need to wear masks.
Wear masks.
So Texas is probably the picture you will see in the COVID encyclopedia of what not to do, I'm sure. This one here, Dwight, while the landing and imminent distribution of this first batch of the vaccine is welcome and encouraging news, the government must now quickly begin transitioning their focus from the Saving Lives chapter of the pandemic, to the Saving Livelihoods chapter. With thousands of people unemployed and scores of businesses closed or past the brink of closing, the government must detail a comprehensive plan to save livelihoods. VAT, business license, and tax credits or exemptions will be useful tools to ease burdens on businesses trying to sustain and make a comeback during a transitional period. Expanded training, social, and a sustained food assistance will also help people on the brink. While the ERC did provide recommendations for economic broadening, the recommendations were too broad and at times too grandiose for what is needed right here and right now. Okay? Very
insightful.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Let's take these calls. Good morning. Caller, you're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight.
Good morning.
Listen, you have to produce a cell phone call. You all owe me $5, but I don't know my data. Listen, and we were supposed to order some vaccines from Africa. You remember that?
From what, sorry?
Africa. Prior to this one here. What happened to those?
We're getting the COVAX vaccines. That's the WHO's. So they're coming.
Okay. There is a vaccine that is widely used in Australia. It's called ivermectin, right? It has been around from the 70s. It knocks out the coronavirus in 48 hours. I think that the authorities and them need to look into that. But it's starting to be widely used in some states in the United States as well. And then we can have our junk away. 7 minutes, look into that, and thanks for taking the call.
All right, so that's a medication you're talking about, that, right? That's a little bit different from what we're doing with the vaccine, right? That's supposed to, you don't want people to get it and then find a treatment for it.
Right.
You want to prevent people from getting it or from getting very sick from it. Mm-hmm. So it's a little bit different. I don't know. Don't have all the details about what you mentioned, but so those are different things.
That sounds like it's a treatment.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
If it knocks it out, if you say that it knocks it out in 48 hours, it sounds more like it's a treatment and less like a vaccine. But again, I'm I'm not familiar with it, so I can't go into further details about that. But
Right.
that's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah. Let's take another call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Dwight. How you doing?
Doing well.
Okay, and good morning, Mrs. Gardner.
Good morning, Anton.
Okay, and good morning to the nation. Dwight, I have 3 to 4 very quick points and concerns as it relates to this whole vaccine process that I think the nation needs to consider as well. And first and foremost, the persons who would be responsible as technicians for administering the vaccines, they have no idea of the process that would be involved, nor have they been trained in any way to be able to provide this level of inoculation in the country. That's the first concern, right? And so
Anton,
yes.
they're doing these things in parking lots all over the world. So it's just you stick a needle in the arm and then you
Dwight, it doesn't matter where they're doing it. The point being, the persons who are the technicians have been trained. That's the starting point.
Yeah, so it won't be you and me doing it to people. These will be nurses and doctors and trained professionals who are already vaccinating many people in the country every day.
There is still training that's required, similarly to the testing for COVID-19. The training that is involved, and if it wasn't important, then the persons who are the technicians would not have highlighted the fact that they are not properly prepared. Okay, Dwight, moving on to my
That's not what they said. They said they have not been in the loop. They haven't been told what's happening. Right? That doesn't mean they're not prepared.
Nor have they been provided training on how to. And in any event, Dwight, moving on to my next point, right? When you look at the fact that even after the government receives the full amount of vaccines that it has paid for to the COVAX facility, along with the free vaccines that it received as a result of not being able to secure the ones that was paid for by the vehement taxpayer money, they are still only going to have enough vaccines to inoculate or to vaccinate 13% of the population, Dwight. 13% of the population. After they receive that 100,000 doses, which will only amount to 50,000 persons, not 100,000 persons, because there's the first and then the second dosage that has to be administered. That's still only 13% of the population. And so, Dwight, when you look at the fact that we are moving at such a very snail's pace, when you look at the fact that the government cannot give any assurance as it relates to when it will specifically secure the vaccines, their procurement process is very ineffective and very inefficient. They are moving very slowly, Dwight. Therefore, this could take another year and a half in order for the government of the Bahamas, perhaps even 2 years or more, for the government of the Bahamas to receive the level of vaccines to inoculate at least 30 to 40% of the population. That spells disaster for us financially as it relates to the tourism industry, Dwight. Because if the government is unable to secure or procure at a fast enough pace the vaccines in order to inoculate a certain percentage of our population, then it spells disaster for businesses, it spells disaster for tourism in the country, and it spells disaster for spin-off businesses directly linked to tourism in our country. And so at the end of the day, that spells disaster for our fiscal affairs in our country. It spells disaster for the GDP in our country, which is already off by 16%. It spells disaster for more national...
Right, Anton, you are being very negative, Billy, today. I don't know what's happening. You know that this is a volunteer thing.
One more
you
point,
know that a gigantic portion of the population are under 20 in this country. They're young people.
One more point, Dwight. Okay? As it relates to negativity, this has nothing to do with negativity, Dwight. These are all facts based on the realities that we've been experiencing. As we can tell, we are still not even prepared to execute the inoculation process, even though we have 20,000 doses in hand, Dwight. This government is operating without a plan, without a strategic plan, and the execution, which is even more important, along with the education, is way off, Dwight. The persons who need to be involved in the administering process is not even educated, much less the population. Dwight, we need to get our act together, and it has nothing to do with being negative. It has
Well,
to do
that part I will agree with you on. Yes, they could do more with the education campaign. Absolutely, absolutely. But you, again, we do believe this is going to be a lengthy process. The country is very small, and we're in competition with many, many, many other jurisdictions. Right? I've said that over and over. But again, a good portion of our people are considered youth, and we're not there yet. Nobody's there yet with considering inoculating young people.
Dwight, and to Anton's point about, even when we get the rest of the vaccine, that's only 13% of the population. I was watching CNN last night. America, who I would think has more opportunity to get the vaccine than us, they've only vaccinated 10% of their population. About 2 weeks ago, when I was reading about the vaccines, Canada at that point was only at 2.4%. So it's like you said, we're competing. It's a start. It's not the be all end it all, but it's a start. And so, let's try to look at it like that it's a start. We're starting now. Mm-hmm. At no point did the government say that this was going to be completely it, but it's a start. We've started, and so we can at least take that away from it. And both of us agreed earlier that those stakeholders should have been consulted. Hopefully, at this point, they will be consulted. I'm sure that those who are going to be delivering the vaccine, if there is whatever the training is, I'm sure that is going to be part of it. It may not have started yet, but we have always been known, which is not necessarily a good thing, to be slow starters. But it's a start. We're at the starting point now. Let's see how it goes before we just go in full mode attack.
I agree. Let's take this call, and then we need to take a break. Good morning, caller. Okay, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us. Here is, let's take that call, and then we'll read this text message. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Dwight. How you all doing?
Doing well.
Well, the vaccines are here. That's the important situation. And I don't know what homeboy is talking about, but the nurses and doctors know how to apply it. So I don't know what the issue is with Antoine with that matter. I'm sure he got shots before, eh? So it's here, and let's get it on, buddy. Thank you.
Okay, all right, let's read this message, and then we will go to the break. This one says, the Bahu representative last night explained when the vaccines will be here. Anton didn't watch last night's discussion. There's nothing to do with the Bahamas. They've already done all they needed to, and Paho's communicated the same. Anton's approach is to paint negativity towards the government as a campaign strategy and needs to stop, as this pandemic is not political. All right, another one here. There are more criticisms about Anton. Boy, okay. Up another one about that. Wow, that's all the people are texting about. Okay. This one says here, nope, I don't know what this is. Can't get into that either. Wow, oh boy. Okay. Laverne, I don't know. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, more of what's making news on this Thursday morning. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
This is AP News. I'm Rita Foley. We're beginning year 2 of the battle against the coronavirus pandemic. It was a year ago today that the World Health Organization declared the coronavirus a pandemic. President Biden will remember Americans' losses and sacrifices tonight in a primetime address, but he'll also paint a picture of a brighter future. AP correspondent Sagar Magani.
President Biden wants to avoid the mistake made when he was vice president, and the Obama administration did not fully explain its economic recovery plan.
Barack was so modest, he didn't want to take, as he said, a victory lap. I kept saying, tell people what we did, so we don't have time.
The president remembers paying a price for that, and the White House is determined it won't happen again.
He will be hitting the road. The vice president will be hitting the road. The first lady will be hitting the road.
The effort will start with tonight's primetime address, the president's first, in which he'll explain how the nearly $2 trillion bill will help speed the nation's pandemic recovery. Sagar Magani, Washington.
It's the most serious allegation yet against New York Governor Cuomo. The AP's Jackie Quinn.
New York Governor Andrew Cuomo is denying an allegation from an aide that he groped her last year at the governor's residence. A spokesman says the embattled New York governor says, "I've never done anything like this." Responding to an unnamed woman's report published in the Times-Union of Albany that he reached under her shirt and fondled her after calling her to the executive mansion, saying he needed help with a cell phone.
Hackers say they were able to peek into hospitals and schools, among other places, after they broke into the systems of a security camera startup. Michelle Obama says she's thinking about retiring from public life, and she's taken up knitting now, she says. She also says she had low-grade depression during the pandemic lockdown. This is AP News. Idaho is dumping Powerball, the AP's Mike Gracia reports.
Idaho lawmakers are ending the Powerball lottery in the state because of concerns about foreign participation. Powerball is expanding to include Australia later this year and Britain in 2022. As a result, Idaho lottery officials were seeking a change in the state law that only allows lotteries that are played in the U.S. and Canada. But the legislature's House State Affairs Committee voted 10-4 to kill the bill. Idaho, which was one of the first states to join Powerball in the 1990s, will have its last Powerball drawing in August. I'm Mike Gracia.
The University of California, Davis is offering students $75 to avoid traveling unnecessarily during spring break because of the pandemic. Students who choose to stay home during the break will get the money in gift cards. Students' response has been awesome, says the university in a statement. Spring break begins March 22nd. I'm Rita Foley, AP News.
7:25, the time for your morning blend traffic alert. And your real-time traffic brought to you by RBC Royal Bank. We are already seeing heavy traffic on Smile Butler Highway as you get closer to Tonic Williams Darling Highway. That's going to be north of Fire Trail. You're going to be noticing that. And at that roundabout with Fire Trail, you're going to be seeing traffic building there as well, especially northbound on Smile Butler Highway towards the roundabout and eastbound on Fire Trail heading towards that roundabout. So keep that in mind. It's already starting out there. Gladstone Road looking a little bit better for you. But as you get closer to JFK Drive, you're going to be noticing the northbound lane with a bit of congestion there. Elsewhere, pockets along Blue Hill Road, especially between St. Vincent and Carmichael Road, the northbound lanes, and north of Soldier Road, the northbound lanes of Blue Hill Road heading towards Independence Drive. Independence Drive also beginning to see a backup there westbound towards that roundabout with Blue Hill Road. East Street as well, northbound heading towards the East-West Highway roundabout and East-West Highway westbound heading towards that roundabout. And further up, East Street and Robinson Road, that junction there looking pretty busy already. Pockets along Prince Charles Drive as well, the major intersections. So Prince Charles and Beatrice and Prince Charles and Fox Hill Road and Prince Charles and Soldier Road you're going to be seeing. some building congestion there. That's what we're looking at so far. We're expecting things to get even wilder. Within an hour, that's when we'll have another report for you. That's your Morning Blend Traffic Alert, brought to you by RBC Royal Bank. And 7:27, time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Rev. We've got a robust high-pressure system just north of the area that will continue to aid in these fresh and strong breezes we've been seeing for the past few days. It's been comfortable this week, even though it's getting warmer each day. We're also going to see choppy seas as that system slides eastwards. Meanwhile, a weakening frontal boundary will gradually shift northwards, enhancing shower activity across the southeast Bahamas through tonight. Again, special warnings for small craft operators in the southeast Bahamas are being urged to remain in port. Beachgoers should stay out of the water across all areas due to high seas, rough surf, and dangerous rip currents. And boaters in the southeast Bahamas should remain alert for the possible threat of possible water spout activity associated with the front. Drivers and pedestrians should also exercise caution along coastal roads, especially along northern and eastern shorelines. Your forecast for today for the northwest and central Bahamas, variably cloudy, a bit warm, windy, with light passing showers through tonight. Small craft advisory is in effect. For the southeast Bahamas, mostly cloudy, warm, and windy, with widely scattered showers and the chance of a few isolated thunderstorms along the frontal boundary through tonight. Again, small craft operators should remain in port due to swells and expect gusty winds in or near heavy showers or thunderstorms. It's 71 degrees right now in Nassau. We are looking at highs getting up to around 79 Fahrenheit, 26 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 66 Fahrenheit, 19 Celsius. In your extended outlook, winds and seas will begin to subside as high pressure will gradually weaken across the area. Meanwhile, the front is expected to gradually dissipate across the southeast Bahamas through the weekend. So for Friday, tomorrow, we're expecting variably cloudy, warm, and breezy conditions with light passing showers. Saturday, partly sunny and warm with the chance of a few isolated showers. That's your Morning Blend Weather Check. Weather Check brought to you by Rev. NBA fans, sign up or upgrade to Rev Trio and enjoy NBA League Pass absolutely free. Call 601-8992 or email trio@cablebahamas.com to sign up. Rev, you and us together. We're back with more Morning Blend after these messages here on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Get ready! The real March Madness is here! Up to 100% off store-wide at Alive! That's right! Devices, earbuds, tablets, and so much more with crazy slashed prices! Pay close attention to our social media pages. Visit any Alive location or visit bealive.com for the best deals on some of your favorite devices and accessories. That's March Madness going on now at Alive. Believe in best.
Meet Jackie. Jackie's a hard worker with a steady income, but she has a personal loan and multiple credit cards to pay off. To keep her account current, Jackie opted for a loan from Fidelity Bank to consolidate her debt into one monthly payment and earn interest on a built-in savings account. Be like Jackie. Call 356-7764 to book a complimentary financial coaching session. Fidelity also offers virtual assistance. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Your home is where your heart is, but it's more than just shelter. Your home is your workplace. Your home is school for your kids. Your home is even your happy place where you play. Get the best internet connection wherever you are with blazing fast speeds up to 300 megabits per second for as low as $99.99 and installation within 48 hours. Sign up for any of our fiber packages today and get a chance to win a free tablet in your second month. Call or WhatsApp 577-SHOP or 424-SHOP and sign up today. Conditions apply.
Basketball is back, baby, and so is NBA League Pass, only with Rev Trio.
Sign up for Rev Trio today and enjoy NBA League Pass absolutely free, along with incredible prizes including brand new 50-inch smart TV, NBA gear, and more. With tons of prizes and gear, signing up for Trio is the best on and off-court move this year. Just call 601-8992 or visit www.rev.bs/promotions/trio. Sign up for Rev Trio today and enjoy NBA League Pass absolutely free.
Stay a step ahead of technology with certainty and support from Custom Computers. Our know-how team is here to help you zero in on your next big tech purchase, finding solutions that take your productivity to the next level using only the best and most reliable brands. With 4 stores all across Nassau on East Bay, West Bay, Old Fort Bay, and Palmdale, there's no stopping you from stepping up your tech. Reach out to us at 396-1100. Find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
RBC and Visa bring you a benefit as unique as you to enjoy Disney Plus. Get 2 months of the all-new Disney Plus streaming subscription on us if you have an RBC Visa Platinum card. Learn more by visiting www.rbc.com/Caribbean/Disney. Reimagine new ways to bank better.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Stop the clocks, it's amazing. You should see the way the light dances up your hair. 1,000,000 colors of hazel, golden and red. Saturday morning is fading. The sun's reflected by the coffee in your hand. My eyes are caught in your gaze all over again. We were love drunk, waiting on a miracle, trying to find ourselves in the winter snow. So we're loaded in love like the world had disappeared. Oh, I won't be silent and I won't let go. I will hold on tight till the afterglow, and we'll burn so bright till the darkness softly clears. Oh, I will hold on to the
We're back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner on this Thursday morning. We are talking about what's in the news, talking about the vaccine, the first doses arriving in the country yesterday, getting a reaction to this. Hoping to hear people who are excited about it and ready to take the vaccine. So far, not really hearing that, but okay. But want to hear from you on this, and we have some other issues in the news to get to. But let's take this call and read some of these final messages before we move on to the next issue. Good morning, caller. You are on the air.
Morning.
Hi, good morning.
Sir.
Yes, good morning.
Morning to you and your guest, Ms. Gardner, and
Morning.
also to the wider team and public. Right, what I find rather amazing is this, is that we knew that we would be getting this drug some months ago. And it just amazed me that the authorities, health authorities in particular, didn't do their due diligence. What should have happened, there should have been a massive campaign to educate the Bahamian people as to about the vaccine, because you now have the vaccine and you're saying just go take it. It doesn't work like that in the real world. Jamaica over 3 months ago had launched a campaign across the Jamaica, throughout the Jamaica, to make sure that the persons who are administering this vaccine are educated, know what the vaccine consists of, and in most cases in a position to answer questions about, because people can always have questions. It's a new drug. We deal with a pandemic. It's a global thing, and people want to know more about the drug prior to taking it. So it is only fitting that we would have done the right thing. These things, and it don't have to be under total government control. These things can be distributed to places like Doctors Hospital, other medical clinics within New Providence, and certain places in the Family Island should have already been in position to administer with the medical professions on those islands, because the crowd population on those islands is not huge, but they have done no education. All the vaccine is coming, just take it. That's just complete nonsense. I mean, when are we going to grow up as adults? When are we going to grow up and understand that we have a responsibility? This is not rocket science. It's just simple. You educate people as to what it is, the importance of taking the drug, why we didn't get the initial shipment that we paid for, but we were fortunate to get the shipment from India, etc., and we are not only the only Caribbean country that got it, right? And so far it's been proven to be working. You see, you gotta hit the ground running, do what is necessary, educate the people, let them know what it is, and they will be more inclined to accept what it is that you're saying. But don't just say the vaccine is here, go take it. That is just complete nonsense, man. We gotta grow up. It's about time that we mature to the level that we understand. You're dealing with human lives. You got to be more sensitive to the plight of every single Bahamian. So I trust that we take another week or whatever it takes, another week or two, but educate the Bahamian people as best as humanly possible. And hopefully in that vein, we will be able to get more people to understand what it is that they're taking and that they prefer to take that initial risk. Other than that, you could be stuck with a bunch of vaccine, and it's be useless because no one will be taking it for the most part. So, I am saying to the authorities, please, do the right thing, do the honorable thing, do something that the Bahamian people can buy into, because you got to get them to buy into this concept, because people have their own view about this drug. So you've got to educate them. Yeah. And we had ample time to do that. They don't use the pandemic. That's no excuse. We had ample time to educate the Bahamian people on this matter.
Absolutely. You are 100% right. And we are also surprised at how slow they're moving with that process as well. So there's no argument there. No argument there. All right, let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Doing well.
Morning to you, guys.
Good morning.
Yes, Mrs. John. Do we not live in an information age? You know, the kid in the garden almost can pick up a smartphone and get any information there is on earth about anything. Just Google it. We just being disingenuous and political about everything. You see. And it's sad, man. It's sad. And what's a nurse? Come on now. What's a nurse? It's like anything new, any technique around, like a mason. A mason could learn any new technique around that pertains to the masonry. And I mean in seconds. Mm-hmm. You see, a nurse is a nurse. How many nurses do we have in this Bahamas? It's not like these people don't need no education to give the stick and needle in you, man.
All right, well, that part I agree with you, right? Anton, who mentioned something different, I don't know where he's going with that, but I agree with you. The nurses will be qualified to administer this.
And we live in
but your first point, I hear you, and I understand what you're saying, but, I mean, we do still need, and when you leave it up to people.
John, you could Google any vaccine.
Yes, that is very true.
Google that, and you could get any information you need.
But also, I'm amazed at how some of my friends don't seem to be able to do a good Google search, and so they will end up on something crazy and then start spewing that around.
Somebody in your household could give you Google to do a Google search for you, and we can read.
Well, I hear you, but it's still. Despite all that, we still need the government to do a major campaign on this.
All political. The only thing they need to know is that it's here. If you ain't getting no information on that, and you've been locked down all this time, that's on you. Thank you, sir.
I hear you. I know what you mean, and I am inclined to agree, but oh boy.
Yeah, the onus at the end of the day really is on us to educate ourselves as well. So I understand what the caller is saying, but it would have been good if we did have more of an education process via the government, making sure that you get the correct information out there, because there are a lot of things going on, and maybe people would be less hesitant if they had a better understanding of how it works.
Absolutely.
What's going to happen.
But
having said that, I mean, and there was some points where you had, I think Dr. Forbes was even on your show, explaining how the process would work, what happens, why in 2 stages, and, it takes time for it to take effect and all of that. So maybe I will say, yes, could there have been a better job done, of a better effort in educating the masses? Yes. But I'll also say that each of us have a responsibility to also educate ourselves.
Yeah. I mean, some of the most vocal people on the radio are the people who have done what they call education and have read up. But again, God knows which sites they went on to get the information they have. So you can't always leave it up to... You can't leave it up to individuals on their own. Sometimes you do need to get your message across. And
absolutely. And like I said, if, maybe if a more broader message, campaign to, hey, let's demystify this, because there are a lot of things and stuff surrounding it. There were a lot of memes, meant to be funny, but still people look at it and they're thinking, could this happen? Maybe there's a chance. So there was certainly a campaign to encourage people not to take the vaccine. So using that as the backdrop, if this is something that you really want to promote and you want your citizens to get on board and to line up or, register to take the vaccine, then I'm saying, yeah, I agree. Part of that effort would be to educate the masses, go in and have these conversations, via Zoom or whatever, discussing the importance of taking the vaccine, how it's going to work, so that people have a better understanding.
Here's a text here. I personally will resist this vaccine, not because it doesn't work, but because it is obvious that COVID is not as dangerous as we were led to believe. Not a single media house has questioned the data, and even you said taking the time to understand the math will be too boring. Not a single media house has questioned the data. Which data are you talking about? And not as dangerous as you believe? You mean for all the nearly 200 people who've died in this country and the thousands of people who've had it and felt that they were going to die?
All right.
I don't understand what you mean.
I'm sure that anybody who had COVID-19 and recovered would certainly not agree with that statement that it's not as dangerous.
I can tell you now, the worst flu you've had, you probably didn't think that you could possibly die overnight. But COVID-19 is a totally different animal. So good for you. You don't understand. I'm happy for you. Other people completely understand how this is the scariest thing they've ever had to encounter. But so I don't know what you're talking about, but I hope you never get to understand it. Okay. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight, and good morning, Laverne.
Hi.
Morning.
The previous caller basically summed it up pretty well, on Dwight. And I keep hearing the media talk about this educational campaign that the government needs to go on. I think that could be the biggest mistake the government could make, is for the government to come out and with this educational campaign. You see what happened in the U.S. with Kamala Harris when they were in opposition? She said if Donald Trump had anything to do with it, she isn't taking it and all of the other stuff. That is why the politicians have to be doing these photo op now, trying to convince the masses to take this vaccine. Now, the U.S., like Laverne said, I follow them too. They are 10%, maybe, but 10 million in terms of who would have already taken this thing.
Wait, so you wouldn't trust, I'm not talking about politicians, I mean, you wouldn't trust Ministry of Health officials?
But that's basically what they're doing, right? And that's the task force, the COVID task force has been giving live press conferences now for how long?
Yeah, but
we
that's
know
different
what's
from the
going
vaccine
on. We
rollout.
know about this thing. There's a matter now of trust because, we have been doing the research too, and you have all kinds of pros information and cons information out there. So we have to do it ourselves. But the government, you want to see one of the biggest drawbacks? Let the government come out and say they're going to do an educational campaign. It'll become politicized almost overnight. Did you see Anton do it basically every day? He's talking about, we have so much trained healthcare professionals in the Bahamas, and you're all making this thing sound as if that they would be giving injections for the first time. It's only an injection. Why do you need, and this isn't the first vaccine that's been out. We've been getting flu vaccine and all these other things for decades. So I would like for you, Dwight, to explain what you would like to see in an educational campaign.
Okay, I can tell you. I can tell you what will happen if I take AstraZeneca's vaccine over Pfizer or Johnson & Johnson or Moderna. I want to know the difference. What would happen if I take both of them? What would happen if I miss the second dose of one? These are some things I want to know. What is the difference between this first batch coming from?
If you put out a $50, if you throw out a $50 prize for the first person who can text the difference, I bet you your phone will be lit because we know it. We can just Google them. Just Google it, Dwight, and you'll see the difference, if any. This is false narrative that we are putting out there, man. I'm not being disrespectful. Don't say I'm being, I don't want you to think I'm being disrespectful, Dwight. I'm trying to get this country open up so we can move quickly back, to some sort of normalcy. Then we put up these boogeyman type things about education for what? Either you're going to take the vaccine or you're not.
Okay, I hear you. I hear you. There's when you Google something, there's hundreds of different sites with information, and not all of it is going to be accurate, right? So I don't know, but okay, I hear you. I hear you.
I think too. I don't disagree that you can go and you can Google and you can do your own research, but every government, not just our government, every government, you want to. At this point, you want to encourage as many of your citizens to take the vaccine as possible. If you saw when they were interviewing some people at some of the elder home facilities, there's a reluctance there. They don't know if they want to take it. When you interview maybe average Bahamians, well, I'm not sure. And it seems that there are side effects. So in your campaign to encourage your citizens to get this vaccination, I don't think there is anything wrong with you doing public education. Let's, have something. Let's demystify this vaccine. Here is what this vaccine will do. No, this vaccine will not cause your hair to flow. No, this vaccine will not cause you to grow another toe. Because there's a lot of things out there, right, that will cause people to be fearful. So you want your citizens to get on board with this. Yes, we can say either you take it or you won't take it. Absolutely true. But you want to encourage as many of them to want to take it or to take it. So there's nothing wrong with you educating people.
Nothing at all. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Caller, good morning. Are you there?
Hi, good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Doing well. Can barely hear you.
Okay. I'm calling about the vaccine as well.
Yes.
There's something going around on social media from, I don't know if it's the Prime Minister or just a doctor from Zambia. And like he said, there's no Zambian that's going to take the injection because most of the injections that seem to be going out to third world countries is not for distribution into Canada, Europe, or the United States. Are those vaccines being distributed in the United States or just into what the gentleman said, banana republic countries or banana countries like the Bahamas and other Caribbean countries? We have to be sure what they're going to inject into us. other countries, big major countries, are taking these vaccines, or they're just testing it on small nations like us? That's what we need to be educated on. Is it distributed to other countries? Are the people in India taking the same vaccines that they're sending to us?
Now, the AstraZeneca vaccine is being widely distributed, but it has not been approved for the U.S. from the FDA.
Oh, so why?
But it is approved by the World Health Organization, the WHO.
But the U.S. is not taking it.
But we're not in the U.S.
Yeah, so we're going to be guinea pigs.
Well, why would you say that? It's being used in many, many, many other countries,
Well, like I said,
including countries in Europe.
Minister of the Health and the Prime Minister and all the cabinet members and their families take the vaccine. We wait a month or a year or so to see what happens. Then they can start distributing it to the public.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. This text here, thank God the internet wasn't around when my parents had to take the polio vaccine, because there might have been a few fewer people because of all the confusion you find on these days on the web. Well, that is certainly the truth. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? This one says, I think that a lot of the speculation and paranoia about these vaccines, and I know this is going to sound weird, but I think the authorities just need to come out and say that there are no microchips in the vaccine and it's not going to alter your DNA. I know it's weird, but this is some of the fears that people have. Yeah, that's what you were saying as well.
Right. Let's demystify it. And, to the last caller's comments, just because this vaccine hasn't been approved by the FDA, which is the Federal Drug Administration for America, doesn't mean that it isn't good. There are a number of different companies who are working on vaccines. So, this is the route that we're taking or we're going, but it's been approved by the World Health Organization. So there is an approval there. This isn't like a rogue, unknown vaccine that somebody just made at home in their home lab.
Oh my! Somebody's criticizing the Bahamians who are too Americanized, right? So when it's convenient, though, because when there are things in the U.S. doing, oh no, we stop your American ways, but you want the vaccines that the U.S. gets. Okay. Just last week, someone said to take my American ways out of here. Remember? I remember someone said that. Anyway. But now, oh no, we want the vaccines that are approved by the FDA. Okay. All right. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, morning, Dwight.
Hi, good morning.
And good morning to, I always consider her as Lady Gardner. And good morning to those who wake up in the land of the living.
Good morning. Good morning.
Dwight, you know something? Every morning you sit in your studio and you hear callers or texters, right? And sometimes, Mr. Strachan, I wonder why the country, when it comes to this, to some of these students, is the average. Some of these senior people is the average too, Mr. Strachan. I can tell you why I say that. First of all, right, the conspiracy theory about this vaccine is rampant in our country. I can't speak for nowhere else in the world, right? When you educate people, whether they accept it or not, you educate them. You can say, well, look, I came on Mr. Strachan's show to speak about the vaccine or how what's the side effects from one vaccine to the next. Some people then, when they take up as simple as a bottle of vitamins, they can't even read it. They have to ask someone else to read it for them. So they have to educate them about what it says on the label. So educating people, some people need more education than others. The way that Dwight Strachan might say, well, okay, I could Google, or Miss Gardner could Google. The next person can't do it. Maybe they need you to interpretate it the best way they can understand it. And I am with an education program on this. I Google a lot of things, and a lot of things I accept for myself. But what about the others who can't read basically and write? No disrespect to no one in that category. But so once you educate people, Mr. Strachan, whether it's from the airwaves, and it's positive, whether it's from social media, it's positive, you're getting the word out. But if you don't get the word out and you don't educate people, you can't blame people for coming up with a conspiracy theory.
Yep,
you all have a good day, my brother.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's take another call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Dwight.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning to your guest.
Morning.
Hey, Dwight.
Hello?
Hi, yes.
Yeah, the thing is about in Google, right? You have to be well read into the field. You know, I have a medical counselor that was from 1962, and I'm 57 in August, right? And Google and their fact checkers, they're obviously being manipulated by the globalists. They have, for instance, when you ask about the flu vaccinations, those are different from the mRNA vaccinations. They specifically talk about they is not attenuated, and some are live, and then some are subunit. Subunit vaccinations are the safest. You could do the studies. The safer and more effective a vaccination is, the less adjuvants they put in it. Now, it seems as if the PM this is a social kidnapping or scientific dictatorship. No vaccines, no Junkanoo. This is what I'm seeing. I'm sick that everybody's thinking alike, right? You want to take the vaccine, go and take the vaccine. But here's my ideal. The photographic psyops, right, at the airport, right? What the PM and the medical pundits should have done was taken the vaccine to start the impetus for the trials, right? That's what they should have done. And then the next question is, this question has to be answered. Do we have a gas chromatograph mass spectrometer to find out that what they're saying is in these vaccines? And then we must remember that I agree with the lady. The Food and Drug Administration is not the holy grail of approvals, but the World Health Organization either, because they don't carry their studies. They review the studies put forward by Big Pharma, and everybody knows the influence of money on the medical community and allopathic medicine. Also, just to bear in mind the fact that you have the tetanus vaccine insidiously through the HCG inside in Kenya. This is the fact. You can fact check it. And also the fact that the syphilis, the ski experiment was supposed to go was the last 6 months, but it lasted for 40 years. From 1932 to 1972, and all the medical health professors and pundits were there, and they allowed this study to go on just to fund the study disease course. You can also remember the Kissinger report, National Security Study Security Study Memorandum 200 for third world depopulation. So it's all based on what you know. So a lot of ignoramuses calling the talk show opining. It doesn't matter to me. I'll stand alone. The thing is, and the pundits have raised the paradigm of the threshold for herd immunity, and I agree with them that 80 to 90% needs to be vaccinated in order to achieve herd immunity because of the high transmissibility dynamics of the virus and the variants, right? And so, I would prefer if the pundits are taking the vaccination to just start the impetus, and a lot of people are opining. The guys talking with Google. I've seen where Google are telling people information like gargling your throat with salt water and some other homeopathic remedies that they calling it dangerous. So they're controlling the narrative. Okay. And it's scary if you want the whole world with everybody thinking alike. Apparently the white people in Australia have more sense than us. Have a good day.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. All right. I wish I had a needle right now. I just want to jam it right in my head. Oh, God. When we come back, we need to change gears.
Next in the news?
Yeah, let's talk about what the Minister of Tourism is saying about the Grand Bahama Airport and the Grand Lucayan Hotel. We'll get into that after the news. This is Boarding Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Lord, help us all. Okay.
Infecting men, women, boy, and girl, causing folks to quarantine. I'm talking about COVID-19.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
On March 11th, 2021, and you're listening to the Guardian News Network Morning Report. Hello, everyone. I'm Charlene Ferguson. Thanks for tuning in. Topping the news. The first shipment of COVID-19 vaccines are finally in the country, with the Prime Minister declaring that vaccinations will begin officially next week. Kyle Joaquin has more.
United Airlines Flight 1456 from Newark, New Jersey touched down at LPIA carrying precious cargo, 20,000 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine. Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis happily touching the packages after weeks and months of waiting. The vaccine dose is now in a storage facility in an undisclosed location. There is currently no clear date on when people can begin signing up for the vaccine, but the Prime Minister says rollout trials are set to begin this weekend.
This weekend, they would run a trial run, and next week, vaccines should be rolled out. We have completed the IT program to ensure the registration of individuals so we can the entire system can be transparent, and we're following the protocol, and we would send our protocol to WHO so that the entire world would be familiar with what we have done.
Healthcare workers, residents, and staff of elder care homes, as well as non-ambulatory residents registered in the public healthcare system, are set to be among the first to receive the vaccine. Dr. Minnis assuring the rollout will be transparent.
Done so that there can be no possibility or question of any one jumping the line or showing favoritism to this one or the next. It would be totally transparent, and you would have that information available to you.
On Sunday, Minnis said 33,000 of the 100,000 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine that the Bahamas secured through the COVAX facility will be in country by the end of the month. But today's arrival is a donation from the government of India, which had representatives from the Indian Association in the Bahamas present. Dr. Minnis addressing concerns by public health stakeholders over a lack of consultation on the rollout.
I think that they are more concerned about rolling out the vaccine and getting the vaccines delivered in the arms of the Indian populace so that we can get back to normalcy as quickly as possible.
The Prime Minister not passing up on the opportunity to mention Junkanoo, stating he can't wait until the big show is back on Bay Street.
One of my happiest moments, other than this, will be when I can say, Junkanooers, friends, colleagues, get ready for Christmas. Let's rock and roll. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Reporting for the Guardian News Network, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
Well, health officials are still trying to calm public fears about the safety of those vaccines in a bid to ensure enough residents take them. Georgia Bain reports.
Today marked a pivotal day in the Bahamas' fight against the COVID-19 pandemic, according to Dr. Nakia Forbes, director of the National HIV/AIDS and Infectious Disease Program. Forbes addressing concerns about the origin of the vaccines.
So it is a good quality vaccine. It has gone through the robust clinical trials that, as I said, were accelerated, and there's a way to do that, and the scientific information is clear. And I would like to say thank you very much for that very generous donation from India. And I also want to highlight some of my other work, that a lot of our high quality generic medications, including medicines for HIV and AIDS, do originate from Indian drug companies. And so they are quality assured, and we should be getting a very good vaccine.
Forbes also addressing how effective the vaccine is against newly emerging variants. We'll insert. So who's up first now that the vaccine is officially here in country?
Prioritize, and you have to look at groups of people on the front line where it would be really consequential if a lot of them came down with COVID-19 and it would impact services. So those are examples of who could be in the first group, or the prioritization first group, of getting COVID-19 vaccines. And based upon what the COVAX committee has said, that it will be persons in elderly care facilities, frontline healthcare workers, that would be getting the vaccines in this first batch.
Forbes also addressing other major concerns that may play a role in vaccine hesitancy, including the possible side effects. Here's what she says those getting the jab can expect.
So it can be a pain in the arm or sore arm, a low-grade fever, feeling tired, muscle aches, headache, some chills. They generally happen in the first 2 to 3 days after getting the vaccine. It's very, very short-lived.
Dr. Forbes urges residents not to wait for another vaccine to arrive, but rather take the steps to protect themselves and loved ones by taking the one that is currently available. Reporting for the Guardian News Network, I'm Georgia Bain.
An environmental impact assessment for Disney's Lighthouse Point development in Eleuthera estimates that the project could boost this country's gross domestic product by at least $805 million in 25 years. In that EIA, which was released yesterday, Disney committed to investing between $250 million to $400 million to create the destination using environmental and sustainable building practices. It estimates that with 300 new calls to this destination annually, its cruise ships should deliver between 600,000 and 700,000 passengers each year. That project, which initially came under fire from environmentalists, is due to be completed in the first half of 2024. The company's Vice President of Public Affairs, Kim Prunty, says site work should begin this year pending approvals after a one-year delay due to the pandemic. While still grappling with pandemic-related travel restrictions, Tourism Minister Dionisio Jagula says the country's number one industry is slowly rebounding. Jasmine Brown has more on that.
The tourism minister revealed that the airline industry was among the hardest hit in the tourism sector, with those funded by taxpayers taking the brunt of the economic blow.
Bahamas Air was to receive $19 million. The Airport Authority was to receive $5 million. Nassau Flight Services was to receive $1.5 million. And NAD was to receive nothing. That totaled $25.5 million.
Delivering a breakdown of the state of the tourism industry during the first half of the fiscal year, D'Aguilar said those entities have already cost the Minister administration 2.4 times more than what was budgeted.
So far this year, up to the middle of this month, these government-owned entities will have received the following in government support. $53 million for Bahamas Air versus the $19 we budgeted for the whole year. $8 million for the Airport Authority. We budgeted $5 for the whole year. $4.5 for Nassau Flight Services. We budgeted $1.5 for the whole year. That totals $61.5 million. I estimate, Mr. Speaker, that by the end of the year, these entities will have cost the taxpayer over $75 million, which is 3 times more than what was budgeted.
While those entities are continuing to cost the government a fortune, D'Aguilar says there was also some good news. Over the past 4 months, he says government has received more than 125,000 travel applications from both visitors and returning residents. On average, he says that's more than 2,000 applications a day since the new year.
In November, our first month of reopening, there were 14,000 visitors, not returning residents, visitors who applied. In December, there were 32,000 visitors who applied. In January, there were 21,000 who applied, a decrease caused by President Biden's announcement that quarantining for persons returning to the United States from travel abroad was being contemplated, an idea that was later dismissed. In February, there were over 28,000 that applied. And for March, I estimate that close to 45,000 visitors will apply for a health visa.
As it relates to the cruise industry, he says cruise lines have showed increased interest in the Bahamas as berth requests for the last 6 months of 2021 rose by 20% when compared to the same time period in 2019. Reporting for Guardian News Network, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Stay with us. There's more news after the break.
Tired of disposable plates that fall apart and leave the food in your lap? Neptune Compostables can solve your problem. Put your food in our heavy-duty clamshells.
At Neptune, we supply heavy-duty takeout plates, coffee cups, sauce cups, soup bowls, straws, and plastic-free takeout bags. We offer free delivery to offices, takeaways, restaurants, bars, and households.
And we ship to the Family Islands.
Order now via WhatsApp at 816-2442. That's 816-2442. Or shop online at NeptuneCompostables.com.
Neptune, where your sense makes sense.
At Master Technicians, we have what your family traditions need, starting with industry-best refrigerators, ranges, and ovens. We also carry Whirlpool washer and dryers, dishwashers and freezers, leading KitchenAid countertop appliances, blenders, microwaves, juicers, kettles, and KitchenAid stand mixers. We even do free delivery in New Providence or to the boat of your choice. Whether you're doing the laundry, creating new memories in the kitchen, or spending family time in front of the television, Master Technicians Limited, keeping family traditions alive for more than 50 years.
Packed, stacked, and full of specials that's super value in quality supermarkets. Rainbow corned beef, 12-ounce can, $1.99. Best value whole kernel corn, 15-ounce, 85 cents. Mazola oil, 40-ounce bottle, $3.99. Pillsbury flour, 5-pound bag, $2.99. Pork chop ends, $1.99 per pound. Sunday Delight smooth or tangy, 64-ounce size, 2 for $5. Open Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. with double stamps on Sunday. Super value and quality supermarkets.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Business travel just got easier with the Alive Corporate Business Plan. Check your messages, check on the staff, or simply keep your emails in check. When traveling on business, you'll have the confidence in managing your office, staying in touch with your team, vendors, and customers. You can roam like you've never left your office with the all-new suite of Alive Liberty Executive Plans. For more information, contact the experts at Cable Bahamas Business Solutions. Call 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands today.
Everything is changing, and your favorite hardware and home improvement store is getting with the program. We Buy You Sell is rolling out its new online shopping feature. If you go to our website, wbusbahamas.com, it's a quick and easy 3-step process. Step 1, browse the gallery and select your item. Step 2, add to cart. And Step 3, check out. Go to our website, wbusbahamas.com, to shop with us today.
Welcome back. 7 people were arrested after a police raid on a home at Fire Trail Road yesterday netted over 300 pounds of marijuana. Jared Higgs has the details.
Heavily armed DEU officers haul 336 pounds of alleged marijuana out of a home as chained-up dogs bark in the background.
This morning, sometime around 7 a.m., acting on intelligence, officers from the Drug Enforcement Unit along with the K-9 unit descended upon this residence here and executed a search warrant. As a result of that search, the officers would have found 13 crocus sacks containing a substance considered to be suspected marijuana.
Police press liaison ASP Audley Peters says 7 people are in custody after the $336,000 discovery. As police searched the home and updated the media, those suspects sat in the back of tinted police jeeps awaiting transport to the Carmichael Road police station.
5 adult males and 2 adult females were taken into custody, and they are assisting police with this investigation.
Peters says police intelligence led to the $336,000 discovery. He says they have a 96-hour window to bring charges. He issued this warning saying police are aware of the effects drugs have on communities.
What we want to say to members of the public who are hell-bent on criminality, that our intelligence network is working, and we are going to continue to see results like these. So you are giving a forewarning to desist and discontinue your behavior of criminality. And we're well aware that there are residual effects of drugs peddling in our communities.
Reporting for the Guardian News Network, I'm Jared Higgs.
That's going to do it for local news. Stay with us. AP News is next.
Jada, jump in the car. Hey girl, your new ride looking good. Yeah, it was rough. No one wanted to insure me as a new driver, and cause I young. Thank goodness Jason told me about Shield Insurance right there across from the police college on Thompson Boulevard. Shield hooked me up with one solid policy at a decent price, minus the shade. Them other companies was joking.
Well, I'm glad you get straight. Call Shield Insurance in Nassau or Freeport. They've got you covered.
Shield Insurance Agents and Brokers.
At Apex Award Signs and Engraving, the name says it all. The country's trusted name for trophies, plaques, corporate seals, rubber stamps, badges, bumper stickers, traffic and street signs, keychains, t-shirts, interior signs, restaurant menus, and so much more. Apex Award Signs and Engraving, number 128 Mount Royal Avenue in Wilton Street. Open 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, and 9 to 1 on Saturdays. Visit the website at apexawardsbahamas.com. Apex Award Signs and Engraving, number 1 in the Bahamas.
When I say Lampkin, what is it with steel doors? Everybody asking if I got steel doors. I say, really got any? All I get is steel doors. I get 32 and 36 inch doors. I get 6-panel and 9-panel. I even get some with sun voice. And I've taken the guesswork out of my customers having to choose right color. All of my steel doors is white. Not only do I have doors, I have the wood and tools for you to hang them. And to sweeten the pot, I sell in all of my Milwaukee tools at 15% off. In answer to your question, I got a ton of doors and a ton of tools. And the tools going for 15% off. Sale runs through end of February.
Brother made you jump off the boat onto Porter-Ski and make a beeline to Sun Isles. Tell Miss Wallace them, I need a battery for this, a battery for that, and a battery for this. You got them? She say, man, you joking? I'll put a battery in you too. Major say, you mean you can still energize this old bunny? She say, man, we'll give you one good overall service, lubricate your 21 joules, then jumpstart your lithium battery, man, you'll be good as new. Major say, well, I didn't know you could do all of that. She say, well, of course I can, because that's the kind of me I am.
Sun Isles Watch and Clock, number 112 Montrose Avenue. Watch and clock sales and repairs for over 40 years.
Cancer is smart. It pushes us.
We push back, challenging conventional thinking, finding smarter solutions. That's what makes Cancer Treatment Centers of America one of the leaders in precision cancer treatment, using tools like advanced genomic testing and immunotherapy to bring more options to our patients. Cancer Treatment Centers of America. We're not just fighting cancer anymore. We're outsmarting it. Visit cancercenter.com/outsmart to learn more.
Introducing the new Slices and Sticks from Little Caesars, an unexpected combination. 4 slices of pepperoni pizza, 8 Italian cheese sticks, and 1 crazy sauce, only for $9. Didn't expect that one, right? Grab the new Slices and Sticks at Little Caesars Oaksfield, Carmichael Road, or East Street South in the Pineapple Plaza. That's 4 slices of pepperoni pizza, 8 Italian cheese sticks, and 1 crazy sauce, all for only $9, and only at Little Caesars.
Pizza.
This traffic report brought to you by Shield Insurance.
With a look at traffic now, the delays are in full bloom within this hour. Those 3 gateways getting out of the city, seeing lengthy traffic lines already in place for a slow ride out of there over Gladstone Road. You're getting out of there onto JFK. It's about the highway to ride onto Tony'sville and Darling. And at this hour, even Carmichael Road has traffic that's slowed down, leaving and getting out there onto Blue Hill Road. It's not late enough for Blue Hill Road ride on top of the hill there to be inconvenient. Getting
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. Also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us 422-4796. And now at 8:18, it's time for another look at your weather for today, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. Here's what's happening. We've got robust high pressure just north of the islands that will continue to produce some fresh to strong breezes. This will be bringing some choppy seas as well as it moves towards the east. Meanwhile, that weakening frontal boundary that's still over the southeast Bahamas, that's going to gradually move northwards, enhancing shower activity across the southeastern islands through tonight. Small craft operators in the southeast Bahamas are urged to remain in port, and those that do venture out should be on the alert for waterspout activity associated with the front. Beachgoers across all areas should stay out of the water due to high seas, rough surf, and dangerous rip currents. And pedestrians and motorists along coastal roads, especially north and eastern shoreline roads, should exercise caution. So for today, for the northwest and central Bahamas, we're looking at variably cloudy, warm, and windy conditions with light passing showers through tonight. Small craft advisory is in effect. For the southeast Bahamas, mostly cloudy, warm, and windy with widely scattered showers and the slight chance of a few isolated thunderstorms along the frontal boundary through tonight. Small craft operators again should remain in port. Look for highs getting up to around 79 Fahrenheit, 26 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 66 Fahrenheit, 19 Celsius. In your extended outlook, winds and seas will begin to subside as high pressure gradually weakens across the area. Meanwhile, the front is expected to gradually dissipate across the southeast Bahamas through the weekend. Tomorrow, Friday, we're looking at variably cloudy, warm, and breezy conditions with light passing showers. Saturday, partly sunny and warm with a chance of a few isolated showers. That's your morning blend weather check, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. What's first for you comes first for us. In your traffic look for this morning, brought to you by RBC Royal Bank. In your real-time traffic, Eastern Road seeing some heavy traffic from just west of Fox Hill, the westbound lanes. This morning, you're going to be seeing that traffic almost all the way down to Montague at this point. Bernard Road, also heavy traffic. As you know, we've got a few schools in that area, mainly westbound, but also eastbound at some point. So that's an area you might want to avoid if you can. Prince Charles Drive might be a better alternate route for you. but there are pockets of heavy traffic, especially westbound lanes heading towards Fox Hill Road, and again closer to Beatrice Avenue and that stretch of Robinson Road between Soldier and Old Trail. Looking busy this morning. As usual, Blue Hill Road, just north of Soldier Road, heavy traffic in the northbound lanes. Carmichael Road eastbound to Blue Hill, and Smile Butler Highway northbound heading towards Tawny Williams Darling Highway. Tawny Williams Darling Highway also backed up in the westbound lanes heading towards that roundabout. And Gladstone Road northbound heading towards JFK, another hotspot for you this morning. That's what we're looking at, your real-time traffic and your morning van traffic alert, brought to you by RBC Royal Bank.
Get ready! The real March Madness is here! Up to 100% off store-wide at Alive! That's right! Devices, earbuds, tablets, and so much more with crazy slashed prices! Pay close attention to our social media pages. Visit any Alive location or visit BeAlive.com for the best deals on some of your favorite devices and accessories. That's March Madness going on now at Alive. Believe in best.
Imagine. That's where every advancement begins, with an idea that things can be different, better. Now, imagine a world where your entertainment experience was all about you, your style, your show, at your budget. At Rev, that's what we've imagined. To join the conversation and learn more about the future of Rev TV, visit us at rev.bs/imagine.
Looking for plenty food and you're on a budget?
Wait, I'm break.
Stop into Wendy's and grab our latest bundle. Introducing the Biggie Bag. With the new Biggie Bag, you get a Dave single, junior fries, regular drink, and 4-piece nuggets for only $7.25, VAT inclusive. Add an apple pie for just $1 more. Now that's a deal. It's the best on these streets. Available at all locations. Restrictions apply. Wendy's, different inside and out.
RBC and Visa bring you a benefit as unique as you to enjoy Disney Plus. Get 2 months of the all-new Disney Plus streaming subscription on us if you have an RBC Visa Platinum card. Learn more by visiting www.rbc.com/Caribbean/Disney. Reimagine new ways to bank better.
Always on the go? Missed the show? You can now listen to Guardian Radio talk shows anytime, anywhere on Spotify and YouTube by searching Guardian Radio 96.9 FM or by entering the name of your favorite show. You can also listen by logging on to GuardianTalkRadio.com and clicking on the podcast tab. Guardian Radio, continuing to provide you with fresh news and smart talk anywhere, anytime, all day.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Get ready to mash this party up. It's Rick and Script full non-stop. Hey! Rick and Script. Rick and Script. D-Max style. Rick and Script. Oh, yeah. Rick and Script. I see you coming from a mile away, girl. Rick and Script. I see ya coming. Girl, I see ya. Hey! She says she's a real good girl. She only goes to church then home. I say I'm a real good guy like Rick and Script. I stay in my zone. She says she don't party hard. I tell her I'm a partier. She tell me she ain't no cutter, but she'll go out with me. She say that she drinks Calyx, but only 3, and then she's done. I tell her I wish they had Calyx or drips, so party can done. She tell me she's a...
We're back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner on this Thursday morning. Coming up in a few minutes, we're going to be talking with the Dignified Girl Project. We're going to tell you what that is all about, that very much needed project. We'll talk about that in just a bit. But we continue talking about what's in the news. And as promised, Laverne, we've got some Grand Bahama issues to discuss. The Minister of Tourism speaking about what's happening with the airport there and the Grand Locayan Hotel. Take a listen to this report from our Taylor Ferguson.
Is on the verge of offloading the Grand Locayan Hotel and acquiring the Grand Bahama International Airport. Tourism Minister Dionisio de Aguilar said this about the airport today.
The government will purchase the property for a nominal price and establish a legal construct
where they are not obligated to pay any amount to the Port Authority in fees. The government will then hire a consultant to advise it on how best to redevelop that airport, given the high probability of another weather event impacting that airport. Mr. Speaker, it makes no sense to me to build back the same type of airport, i.e. close to the ground, and not at least consider quite seriously the impact of hurricanes and flooding on that facility. It has happened twice in recent memory, some say 3 times, so we must consider how to make that airport more resilient when we contemplate its redevelopment.
While de Aguilar did not reveal what the purchase price would be, he did say the Minister administration plans to invest approximately $1.5 million in capital improvements for the airport in the short term. When it comes to the Grand Lucayan Hotel, he said the long and sometimes arduous journey is coming to an end.
The terms have been essentially agreed, and having the sale of the hotel tied to Royal Caribbean and ITM first striking a deal with Hutchinson Ports has made this transaction that much more complex. But I think all the ducks have been lined up, and we are nearing completion.
All right, our Taylor Ferguson with that report there. All right, how are we feeling about this? The ducks are all lined up, almost finished on this very long, arduous road there. How are you all feeling in Grand Bahama about this, Laverne?
How are we all feeling? I know how I'm feeling, but, the wider picture, I guess, an opportunity for people to be reemployed or to be employed. So we are looking at that and trying to be optimistic about that. I am concerned not just about this. I'm not concerned. I'm confused about the sale and all of the details surrounding the sale, because I thought that it was sold. I thought that it was sold. I thought that everything was being turned over to the ITM group and Royal Caribbean. Then we get an announcement that the hotel is opening. So I'm like, is this group opening the hotel? No, it looks like the government is opening the hotel. And so I'm confused about how all of this is working and how all of this would work. I would have preferred an announcement that was detailing how they're going to get heads and beds, because that is a concern. It's all fine and well to open the hotel, but who are you opening the hotel to? So, with the hotel, I'm on the fence. I'm in the position, I'm waiting and seeing. Yeah. I'm in the wait and see mode.
Yeah.
For the hotel.
Wow. All right, let's hear what our listeners are saying. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. What do you say about this?
Yes, good morning to both of you, C.L. and Johnson.
All right, another grand
Let me tell your co-host, get off the fence. It's insanity to sit and stare at a rock and expect blood to seep out of it. Let's put it in context what you have here. I saw where the Prime Minister keep using this word transparency. What have we been transparent on? Not a single thing. Remember, that's the theme of the FNM election campaign. Transparency, accountability, integrity, anti-corruption, freedom of information, campaign finance reform, fixed term limits, and I could go on and on and on. The FNM made 20 promises in their manifesto concerning Grand Bahama, for which 25 of it is yet to be met, because additional promises has been built upon it. This hotel was invoiced $20 million when we acquired it, and we didn't get everything that was supposed to come with it. So far, we are $150 million in the red in regards to this hotel, as well as the $30 million, including the $30 million that we're still financing with the Hutchison Whampoa. The airport is a disaster that no insurance company in the world will accept from a regular entity any type of liability, and as such, you need a sovereign guarantee by a country for which we are acquiring it. The airport was bought in 1995 for $1. If we were to even think about acquiring it as part of a master plan, which we do not have, remember the word transparency again, if we had a master plan, we could actually see what we would do. We don't have anything. It's take my word for it, where we have had the hotel sold and open at least a dozen times over the last 2 years. That there's been no refurbishment to the hotel. In fact, if you go to a review on the hotel and the other lighthouse part they're trying to open, the trip advisor, one of them said, if you ever want to experience the 60s, please visit this hotel. And that's before the mold and mildew from the hurricane set in, and now you've had years of just sitting there and saying that people is going to come there. Here's what you have. You ever seen the animal show where the animal is trapped in a bear trap or some animal trapped, and it will actually gnaw off its hands or foot to free itself from fear? That's the state of our Prime Minister. He will say anything, he will do anything to convince us of his credibility or for the fact that we need to re-elect him. We have learned that he already notified international people that he's moving towards an election for this year. He has not told us yet on where the revenue stream. We're still waiting on the economic recovery report to tell us how this economy can open. You have a man that is desperate for 20,000 vaccines to vaccinate 400,000 people for us to reach the 90% herd immunity. We don't have any information of testing those for us to see who may have been exposed to COVID. We want to give vaccine to people that we don't know their health condition because we don't have a hospital infrastructure to gauge the health of individuals before we stick something into them to see what will be the counteractions. You have a desperate man, who wants to say transparency, transparency, transparency. I don't think he can spell it. This is a NPO movement for him. We need to wake up and begin to look for solutions, and it does not lie in the competent authority, nor the Prime Minister, nor in Hubert Alexander Minnis. Thank you so much.
Okay. All right. Wow. Quite a bit said there.
It's a lot, but part of what he is saying, well, not part of it, I'll say this, that the hotel has needed work for quite some time. Like he said, the one portion of the hotel has been closed since Matthew. Closed. So there hasn't been work. There hasn't been anything to it. The other part, Lighthouse Point, that they're seeking to open needs work. I would say, for the exception of the last year, at least once a year for work reasons, I stay at the hotel, that hotel. So going into the rooms, it needed work then.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure it needs work now. You have to consider all of that. In terms of the airport, I think I said to you maybe about 2 weeks ago, one, no more than $1. I don't know what the nominal fee is. I don't know what the purchase fee is for the airport, but as far as I'm concerned, the government should pay no more than $1. And that's a lot.
Wow.
But the government also needs to consider, unlike the Minister of Tourism mentioned, you can't keep rebuilding that airport where it is. That area floods. That is the reality of that area. So you have to make a decision. Am I going to go up several levels higher? Am I going to build up? Or am I going to maybe look at where there is some infrastructure, either the eastern or western part of the island, and work with that? But that airport, the way it is, or the way it was before now, you can't continue to do that because that area always floods and you will always have an issue.
Wow. All right, got a lot of calls coming in on this and text messages. Let's take these calls. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, morning, Mr. Strachan. How you doing?
Doing well.
I'm Miss Gardner. That's Freeport, Grand Bahama. Mr. Strachan, I'm from Grand Bahama, right?
Mm-hmm.
One thing I never wanted the government to do is have any hands in Freeport. Because I live here in Nassau now, and I see how they run Nassau. And the airport, to build that airport there, that airport sits in that area is in like in a bowl, the right side up. That airport can go east of where the airport is now, where the old airport is, east of that, and take the airport, put the airport in that area. I mean, you'd be foolish to put that airport right back there because you got Queens Cove with the canal, and when that weather come, it push that water right there. And that airport is I mean, like I say, the airport sits in a bowl. I mean, to put that airport back there, I mean, you can't be serious.
Right.
You can't be serious. I mean, the government might as well do import of that. And what Alan said just now about Dr. Minnis in Freeport selling Grand Bahamians, all kind of dreams. I mean, he packaging anything in a bag and selling it to Grand Bahamians, telling them they go open up their hotel, they go open up the airport and all those things. Because right now, Mr. Stone, if you tell them that you could open up that airport before the next election, they will credit you that. They'll give you that to open up the airport. I mean that hotel. They will do anything. And Grand Bahamians got to be very careful because Dr. Minnis is good, man. He can sell dreams, and, man, he's packaged it so well, man, you'll believe, ooh, and he put BS on it, ooh, you'll still buy it.
Wow. Okay. All right. Thanks a lot. Laverne, you agree with that? Do you think that's going to work?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that we're at a point where people are a little bit more discerning. People are disillusioned. And so the attempts to just sway people by quickly throwing something at them, I don't think that is having as much traction as it used to.
All right. Here is a text here before we take that call. I'm not smart like the cabinet ministers, but doesn't it make sense to hire the consultant first to see if the airport is worth purchasing in the first place? And if so, what the cost of redevelopment may be to the extent it influences the purchase price? Well, again, as Laverne and Seattle are saying, these people, you're talking single-digit dollars here. It better be. And, there is, what else are you going to do? Something has to be done. The owners aren't doing anything. We are in a serious situation here, and I think they feel that their hands are tied. They have to do something. I don't know if you see it a different way, Laverne.
No, something has to be done. Absolutely, we cannot continue like this, and especially, I guess the push is also because they're trying to do whatever they're trying to do with the hotel. Realistically, do you really want people coming into what we have right now? That's what motivates us. If there were no tourists, or they were hoping that there were no tourists coming, or the prospect of no tourists, they probably would leave it the way it is because, then it's only Bahamians traveling and we're not that high up on the pole of importance.
Oh, my.
But, you have to do something. We're at the point where this is ridiculous. Something has to be done.
Yep.
And so, like I said, if they have to pay $1 for it, pay the dollar. And then decide what you're going to do. And you know us, we're going to hire consultants all through because we love to pay consultants.
Well, hopefully these ones will be Bahamian this time.
We'll see.
For those who might not have heard when we last discussed this, describe how the airport is, because people might be thinking this is just a regular Family Island type airport. No,
it's not a regular family type airport. You have this one building that houses the different airlines for check-in, that houses the customs officers, immigration officers. All of this is in one space. Like I said, when we were traveling, there were a number of people were traveling. And so basically you were outside on a line because if maybe the area for check-in can comfortably hold about 20 people, that's a lot. And so you ended up on lines that were outside, that were running down the way, and the different airlines coming outside yelling, anyone traveling on Bahamas Air to Nassau, and then you bring them inside and check them in. So it's not a regular family island airport. And then you have other areas of Bahamas Customs that are operating out of a trailer. That is the condition when you fly into Grand Bahama. When you get off the plane, they take your luggage and they line it up outside on the,
it's like a flatbed. Is it a truck? I don't know. What was it exactly? How would you describe it?
The truck takes the luggage off of the plane,
No.
but then they line it up on the floor, on the ground.
Oh, it's the ground. Yes,
Right.
that's right. I remember now.
Right.
I remember now. I tried to block it out, but okay. But hey, there was a massive hurricane. It was a devastating experience, and it is awful. It's been more than a year now, right? Almost a year and a half, and something has to be done. Okay, let's take this call, and then we need to take a break. Good morning. Oh, okay, they're gone. We're gonna. Yep. Good morning. Are you there? You're on the air.
Hi, yes. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Doing well.
Awesome. Listen, man. We are sick and tired as Bahamians of buying dreams, and all the right honorable, and all Mr. Ministers is sell dreams to Bahamian people. And I'm going to tell you, they have sold the Bahamian people a pie factory. Most governments sell Bahamians one pie, but they sold a pie factory. Bahamians could not get a crumb from the pie factory that they sold them, and he is still selling drinks. What we want the Prime Minister to do, if you want to tell the Bahamians you're going to do something for them, go in Parliament today. Start passing laws and start passing policies and stuff that can help benefit Bahamians, or do not come to us selling us dreams, telling us what you're going to do when you get back in power, because we know it's a lie. And his cabinet is just as bad because they have no guts. No one is in there strong enough to stand up to the Prime Minister and say, this is what we should do for the Bahamian people.
Now, are you saying this
and
just in general or in relation to the Grand Lucayan Hotel and the Grand Bahamas International Airport?
The Grand Lucayan, the Grand Lucayan Hotel makes it worse. Because what we are seeing right now today in Parliament from the Prime Minister and his team, why would we believe this foolishness with the Grand Lucayan Hotel? We're getting nothing from them. As Bahamian people, we're getting nothing from them. Nothing that's worth talking about. They're trying to do, I wouldn't say absolutely nothing, but what they're doing is not beneficial to the Bahamian people in no kind of way, so it just makes no sense. So we're tired of that.
Okay. All right. Well, very quickly, thank you very much, caller. Appreciate it. Laverne, if this hotel were to close, what would that mean? What would it mean? Would no big deal, or would that have a serious impact on things in Grand Bahama?
Right, the hotel is closed.
Closed forever. If it never is a thing again and it's just sitting there, that's just like, oh, well, life will continue. That we're used to this here.
Yeah, because that's what we do in Grand Bahama. We just make do.
Oh, boy. Okay. Let's take a break. We're going to be back with more Morning Blend after this. Stay with us.
Let me see you whining. You tell me you ain't into much and you ain't got time to play no game. You tell me you don't go nowhere and no one even know your name. Now look how you winding up. Drink yours now in my cup. I tell her not time to rest. She's telling me no, not yet. You told me that you were ugly, girl. Now look like you don't want to go home. You ordered 2 more drinks.
Hear that? That's the sound of your money working for you. Because at CFAO, we know you work hard for your money, so we make sure your money works hard for you. In 20 years as a leading investment firm, we've helped thousands of Bahamians grow their wealth and build a more stable future. With savings plans, pensions, and wealth services to suit everyone, whoever you are, whatever you do, we have financial solutions that will work hard for you. Visit or call us today to put your money to work. CFAO, seize your future today.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
She's just a girl and she's on fire. Hotter than a fantasy, lonely like a highway. She's living in a world and it's on fire. Filled with catastrophe, but she knows she can fly away. Oh, she got both feet on the ground and she's burning it down. Oh, she got her head in the clouds and she's not backing down. This girl is on fire. This girl is on fire. She's walking on fire.
And we're back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner on this Thursday morning. Changing gears now, talking about the Dignified Girl Project. Have you ever heard of it? If not, you're going to be quite amazed by this wonderful initiative. Joining us to tell us all about this, we have founder Philippa Dean along with Christine. I hope I'm going to pronounce this right. Ciampini? Is that it by any chance, Christine?
Yes, you've got it correct.
Really? Wow, okay, look at that. And Sarah Manson Wood. Great to have you all with us. Welcome to the show.
It's great to be here, Dwight. Thank you so much for having us.
All right. So, Philippa, let's begin with you. You founded this in 2017. Is that right?
Yes.
How did it come about?
It came about from a personal encounter that I had with a single mother, migrant to the Bahamas. Just one child, but she was feeling the weight of being unemployed. And I think sharing with me her young daughter's ordeal in high school was the straw that broke the camel's back. So her daughter was having difficulties, or was uncomfortable, I should say, changing in the restrooms of her school during physical education because her undergarments were not in the best or dignifying conditions. Mm-hmm. And she posed a question to me, and she said, do you know what it's like not to be able to afford a new bra for your daughter? And in that moment, I was like, what? That was never even a thought. First of all, I don't have a child. And secondly, I never thought about it. I never thought that there were young girls out there who had this level of discomfort because their parents just could not afford some of the very basic things that they needed as females.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So how did you decide that this is something that you should champion? That this is something you should be getting involved in?
So I took a moment to reflect. First, I had to rebuke myself for having that humanly thought. Mm-hmm. And then as days passed, I meditated or reflected on what she had said. The question struck home. After a few days of reflecting, I remembered a personal moment, a long personal moment when I was a teen girl and my mom was employed for like some of the very critical years of my education. So she was employed maybe about 7 years, unemployed for about 5 to 7 years. Mm-hmm. And I know that there were times when there were things that she needed to do that she was unable to do. And I mean, very basic stuff. And it just amazed me that how soon I had forgotten where I had come from and what I had been through. Mm. And my mom reached out to me after I told her I was going to champion this cause. And she said, thank you. She said, thank you, because as a mother, I know what it's like. There were many things I didn't share with you, but I know what it's like. So she didn't have to say much more. I understood. Wow. So I said, if this is something that 1, 2, single mothers may be experiencing, unemployed as well, then maybe there are more. And because it's so sensitive, it's so intimate, it's so private, maybe these women and girls don't feel they have a safe space enough to speak about it. So I was like, okay, let's try this. So on my birthday of 2017, rather than having a party or going to the spa, I got a few friends together. We packaged the items, we bought some cupcakes, and we literally went door to door off of some of the communities in East Street, on East Street. And we hand delivered those packages, and we spoke to some of the women. And it was so exhilarating and enlightening. I was like, yeah, this is something that I think I want to explore more. I want to fill this need. First of all, I need to find out if this is a need, and I want to fill it.
And then you found out that there was a great need, much more than you thought, I can imagine.
Yes.
And so that was 2017. What was 2020 like? We know that was a challenging year for so many people. Did you see a real increase in the need for your assistance from the Dignified Girl Project?
So I would say in 2020, we expanded, like the organization in terms of its awareness increased. I think that's because the underlying need increased. Our donor support, believe it or not, also increased. 2020 was a very good year for us in terms of our mission. As our awareness spread, of course, the need came in. So our community partners, or what we call distribution centers, which are other non-profit organizations that are grassroots or in the communities and are directly working with families, the need just started pouring in, and we could give them more. In 2020, we even did another community walkabout, this time in the Grandstown. Is East Street a part of Brain Grandstown? Well, anyway, I don't know the boundaries and how those things work. But in the heart of Baintown, we did a walkabout. And again, we got to meet face to face, of course, with our mask, with persons and hear their stories, see their plight. And we distributed in 2020 about 11,000 units of basic menstrual hygiene kits to women and girls. So compared to the previous year, where it was probably only about 500.
Wow. All right. So tell us all that's in the kits that you're talking about. What's in the packages that you do? What are the products that you are distributing?
Okay, so we have 2 dignity kits. The first one is by special request only, and that is an undergarment dignity kit. So in that, we supply children that age 6 to 12 and teen girls 17 to 18 with 2 new bras, 3 new underwear. So that's the very basic kit. Of course, that's by special request, simply because our size is different, differ. And then the second one we have is a menstrual hygiene kit, and that would include a bar of soap. It would include panty liners and 1 month supply of disposable sanitary napkins. Now, depending on our inventory and what has been donated to us, we sometimes are able to add a little extra to the packages. We would put in there a tube of deodorant, a toothbrush, as well as a tube of toothpaste.
Wow, that's amazing. All right, so I want to go back to 2020. We know that there were the lockdowns and the curfews and days when you couldn't go out. So there were days when people couldn't get to pharmacies or to the grocery store to buy some of these essential items. Just what type of experience was that for some of the underprivileged people in our country?
So we did not have the liberty to move as freely. In fact, we ourselves, the organization of volunteers, we do not, outside of our door-to-door every now and then, we do not do the distribution. We do the soliciting, and we do the packaging, and we would deliver to our community partners. So in their locations, they would have these supplies, and they would be responsible for donating directly to those persons that may need assistance. So they would have been the ones trying to navigate making sure persons that needed these items got them, considering all of the restrictions. So that was not something we had a great challenge with. And what we do is we are very careful not to label the persons that we assist. And here's why, Dwight, because 2020 proved to us that anyone can experience financial hardship at any given time. So nobody is exempt. So even though we started out supplying women, teen girls in inner city communities, 2020 taught us that there are persons that aren't living in the inner city communities that were in need of our assistance. Right. So we simply say anyone that has fallen on hard financial times, which we know can be due to an economic crash, something like a natural disaster, something like a pandemic, like COVID-19.
Absolutely. Wow.
Philippa, do you go into like the schools and just to kind of and speak with the young ladies to make them aware, just in case, because I know you say you partner with other community organizations, they aren't aware that this kind of help is available?
So I love your question. And as much as I would like to say that our community awareness is growing, there is still much more room for awareness to happen, because there are many that are still unaware of what it is that we do. When it comes to partnering with schools, my answer would be no. There is not a school that we've identified yet, or schools that we've identified yet to partnership with. Of course, there is protocols in place for that. And we recently, just last week, engaged the Ministry of Education for a possible partnership so that we can do that, because a part of our mission is not just to be a provider of fish, but we also want to teach women and girls how to fish. We also want to provide education, because there are so many other social ills that are connected to not having a full understanding of your reproductive system, how it works, how it should function, how your choices in hygiene, menstrual hygiene, could impact, your health. So we realize that education is an important part of it. And I myself, having an educational background, or a background from education, I taught for about 20 years in the public school system. I am very aware of the need for such an initiative, as well as the need for education when it surrounds feminine hygiene.
Sarah Manson and Christine, let's talk about your involvement in the project and how this experience has been for you.
Sure. This is Sarah Manson. I'm operating as the treasurer for the Dignified Girl Project, and Philippa brought me on board. It's been an amazing opportunity, and I think this might be my opportunity now to say we are working directly off of donations. And I just wanted to share, if that's okay, how people can donate to the Dignified Girl Project.
Absolutely.
We have cash deposits at DGP and for under DGP in the Lowe's wholesale account on Soldier Road. We take checks made out to the Dignified Girl Project. Lots of product donations. So pads, tampons, panty liners, soap, bra, singlets, panties, anything that you think that we could distribute, we will take. We'll pick it up, or you can drop it off just by contacting us. And also direct deposit. So what we'll do after the interview is we'd love to put up on our social media, on Instagram and Facebook, these options as well for everyone.
That sounds wonderful. That's wonderful. And Christine.
Hi there. Yes, I've been privileged to be able to volunteer for the Dignified Girl Project as a fundraising chair. And what I focused on is building partnerships with perhaps more of the international network, as it is truly a global movement now to end period poverty. One exciting development is that we developed a partnership with the PAD Project, which is located in the United States. And they are a global network of mental health and hygiene organizations. They support those organizations. And one that we connected with to develop our program is Sierra Leone Rising. They have a washable cloth pad program there, and we're trying to see how we can kind of implement that here for certain communities that use washable cloth pads, and to see how we can make this whole process more sustainable for the communities here. So it's been an exciting time.
All right, wow. We're running out of time, so once again, tell us how we can get those donations and get more information about the project.
Go on, Sarah. Sarah, if you can you just share the contact information again?
One more time.
Sure. So product donations, I'm going to read out a phone number now. If you have a donation and you'd like us to pick it up or drop it off, you can call or text to 242-824-3137. 824-3137, and we're happy to come pick it up. We also have direct deposit and checks made out to the Dignified Girl Project, and we'll post the details for the direct deposit on our Instagram and Facebook.
All right, sounds good. Philippa Dean, always great talking with you. This is a great project. Thank you so much for having the insight in doing this. I know you've helped many people, and this is great. Keep up the great work. And to all of you, Christine Ciampini and Sarah Manson-Wood, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dwight. It's always a pleasure.
Yes, Philippa, just before you leave, you should consider a Grand Bahama chapter. We can talk more about that off air.
Yes, please, Laverne, because Grand Bahama is actually in our grant proposal, because we have plans for Grand Bahama, so I would love to.
All right.
Absolutely.
Well, that's great stuff.
you.
Look at that. Wow. All right.
Awesome sauce.
We're going to take a break for the news. When we come back, Morning Blend Business, we're going to be talking about that minimum wage. How much of an impact would an increase in the private sector minimum wage have on the country's economy? That's coming up. Stay with us.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
This is the Guardian News Network update on the hour. Hello, everyone. I'm Charlene Ferguson. With 20,000 doses of the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine now in the country, Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis is promising full transparency with regard to who gets those shots. He told reporters no one will be allowed to jump the line and no favoritism will be shown to anyone, as a special IT program will be used to help with transparency by registering those vaccinated. The vaccine rollout will begin next week following a trial run this weekend. OPLP leader Philip Davis says his party has reservations about legalizing marijuana for recreational use, and if elected instead would focus on possibly legalizing medical marijuana and regulating the growing of hemp for export to the world market. The latter, he said, would be their main focus while they gather more data related to the impact of the drug's medicinal use. And Disney estimates that its Lighthouse Point development in Eleuthera could boost this country's gross domestic product by at least $805 million in 25 years. The project's 551-page environmental impact assessment was released yesterday and included Disney's commitment to use environmental and sustainable building practices on the project. The company says more than 300 new calls will be made annually to the Bahamas, bringing up to 700,000 cruise passengers to this country. Site work on that project should begin this year. That's what's making headlines at this hour. Stay with us. AP Update is next.
Hello, sir. Your credit card bill is due. Hello, sir. It's time for your monthly loan payment. Tired of creditors pounding at your door? Sign up for a debt consolidation loan from Fidelity Bank and consolidate your debt into one low monthly payment. What's more, you'll also earn interest on a built-in savings account. The pandemic has curbed many freedoms, but at Fidelity, our focus is to help regain your financial freedom. Visit a branch or speak to Fidelity Bank at 356-7764. COVID safety measures in place at all branches. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Beulah gal, can you believe this? We are now the patrol queens of the neighborhood. We now large and in charge. So we need to check out what's going on in everybody's yard. What about that gun that we know that Junior and his homeboys just ran out? Can we report that too? Of course we can. But we could be in deep trouble if they find out. We need to report what we see, Beulah. When you call Crime Stoppers, they just answer your call in Miami. So then we can report everything? Guns, where they hiding the drugs, who shoot who part of which gang, or who disturbing the peace with the loud music and the motorcycles. Then our neighborhood will be the best in the Bahamas, and everybody gonna want to come live here. And then our house price will go up, gal. So what we waiting on? What's the number?
If you see something, say something. Let us all pitch in and stop the crime before it's your time. Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands. Or text us through the Crack Crime Bahamas app. Stop the crime before it's your time. This traffic report brought to you by Shield Insurance.
In a final look at traffic now, we are on the other side of 9 o'clock, and several of those thoroughfares have cleared, and some are still challenged to get a move on out of there. However, there's been a great reduction in both Glacier Road and Tabala Highway. Yep, still some hanging up in there, but it's moving. And for where it was just moments ago, but what's happening now along those routes, it's a tremendous improvement. Elsewhere, over there in Independence Drive, you still got that thick traffic line happening on the exit to Blue Hill Road on the west side, and then on the east side, the exit to East Street has got its low too. Soldier Road still considerably busy, first along the thoroughfares and intersections at Abundant Life Road onto Old Trail area, and then secondly on the northern end of Soldier Road, heading into that Wolf and Burnett Road intersection. You will be riding traffic bumper to bumper over there, getting through the stoplights. Burnett Road traffic exiting on that same Wolf and Soldier Road intersection has calmed down, though still creating traffic light lines over there. The Eastern Road heaviest traffic flow has passed through, still got some remnant hanging on there, getting out of there, and the ride in along West Bay Street, well, that's without congestion so far. Well, that's without congestion, and has only minimal delays happening for the ride into the city. This National Traffic Report serves with Sunshine Finance, where you can get the money you need in 24 hours. The Sunshine Finance Limited in any of 4 easy ways. Email an inquiry to apply at sunshinefinanceltd.com. Call 502-6500. Send a WhatsApp inquiry to 376-4561. Or you can visit the office directly on Shirley Street or Carmichael Road. For Sunshine Finance Limited, your leader in private lending. Get the right sky look at traffic in real time at VA-N.
I'm Rita Foley with an AP News Minute. President Biden will address the nation tonight, his first primetime address since taking office. And it comes on the anniversary of the day 1 year ago when the World Health Organization declared the coronavirus a pandemic. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki says the president will mourn the loss of American lives, but will also look to a hopeful future.
And he will be talking more about how he will approach this war against the pandemic moving forward and lay out some more specifics of what the American people can expect.
On Friday, the president signs an almost $2 trillion COVID relief bill, and Republicans are furious. Top House Republican Kevin McCarthy.
This isn't a rescue bill. It isn't a relief bill. It's a laundry list of left-wing priorities that predate the pandemic.
In other news, Prince William is defending the monarchy against accusations of racism made by his brother, Prince Harry, and wife Meghan. I'm Rita Foley.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Thursday, March 11th, 2021. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. I am, again, Dwight Strachan and Laverne Gardner joining me as we continue with the show this morning. Today, we're going to be talking about the minimum wage. It's become a hot issue since the PLP announced that should they be elected in the next general election, they will seek to increase the minimum wage for the private sector to match the government sector private. The government sector minimum wage is $250 a week. There's been some strong reaction to this, positive and negative. We're going to talk about it with the National Tripartite Council. Robert Farquharson is going to be our guest this morning. What impact will an increase in the minimum wage have on the economy at this time? We're going to talk about that, especially after our eye-opening discussion last week about the livable wage and how wide a gap there is between the two. We're going to get into all of that this morning. But first, it's time for your morning business report brought to you by CFAL. In your morning business report, over the course of the development of its environmental impact assessment, Disney Cruise Line has continued to tweak its plan for the Lighthouse Point property and is satisfied that it has addressed the many concerns received from environmentalists and other bodies. That's according to the company's Vice President of Public Affairs, Kim Prunty. Local environmentalists have been outspoken about their objection to the development at Lighthouse Point, even taking their lobby against Disney's project to other environmental advocates in the United States. However, Prunty, who spoke with the media virtually yesterday, saying that Disney has developed what is likely the most extensive EIA in Bahamian history to ensure that it captures all environmental concerns about its development, advertised as a low-density project. Prunty says Disney has gone so far as to relocate its back-of-house area to avoid old ruins and to rework its open trestle pier so that it can avoid any coral heads in the construction area. Vice President of Disney's Animal, Science, and Environment, Dr. Mark Penning, also presented to the media saying that any coral that could potentially be damaged by the construction of the pier or its existence will be relocated. You can read more about this in today's Guardian business section. Disney's Lighthouse Point, according to the company, will increase the Bahamas' gross domestic product, GDP, by at least $800 million over the next 25 years, according to that EIA. The project, which came under fire again from environmentalists, is expected to be completed by the first half of 2024, pending approvals. More from Disney Cruise Line, which now actively is hiring for positions on its private Castaway Cay, making it its responsibility to assist in getting Bahamians back to work by hiring all Bahamians for the island. The company announcing yesterday in a press statement that it has appointed Hubert Roll from New Providence as Operations Director, the top position on the island. Vice President of Public Affairs Kim Prunty again speaking to the media yesterday, saying Disney heard of the government's concern about high unemployment brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic and used the sailing pause imposed on the cruise industry to reprise roles on the private island for Bahamians. Prunty says for those roles on the island that were traditionally not taken up by Bahamians because there was no interest or there was a lack of training, eligible Bahamians will now be trained. She said those roles were typically as lifeguards and in maintenance. Roll, who will be responsible for the day-to-day operations on the island, says he's grateful for the opportunity. Again, you can read more in today's Guardian business section. With uncertainty about when the return of cruise ship sailings will happen, Tourism Minister Dionisio de Aguilar touting a nearly 10% increase in berth bookings for the Port of Nassau in 2022. De Aguilar says Nassau's cruise port has already received 810 berth requests for the last 6 months of 2021, a 20% increase over the 682 cruise ships that called on the port during the last 6 months of 2019, which was a record year for cruise arrivals in the country. However, if things don't pan out as planned later this year, De Aguilar says things are looking up for a strong return of the cruise industry next year. And the Ministry of Agriculture and Marine Resources is in the final stages of an arrangement with Atlantis Paradise Island to provide the resort with Bahamian-grown produce, with the company offering use of its own acreage for production. Agriculture Minister Michael Pintart confirming this yesterday. Pintart revealing that the ministry has had similar discussions with other hotel properties, including Albany and Bahamar, as the ministry seeks to enforce that at least 40% of food items purchased by hotels and restaurants be locally produced. Overseas from the U.S., a number of Americans seeking unemployment benefits fell last week to 712,000, the lowest total since early November. Evidence that fewer employers are cutting jobs amid a declining confirmed coronavirus cases and signs of an improving economy there. The Labor Department is saying today that applications for unemployment aid dropped by 42,000 from 754,000 the week before. Though the job market has been slowly strengthening, many businesses remain under pressure, and 9.6 million jobs remain lost to the pandemic that flattened the economy 12 months ago. In February, U.S. employers added a robust 379,000 jobs, the most since October, reflecting an economy in which consumers are spending more and states and cities are easing business restrictions. Thursday's figure, though the lowest weekly figure in 4 months, showed that weekly applications for jobless benefits still remain high by historical standards. Before the viral outbreak, they had never topped 700,000, even during the Great Recession. All told, about 4.1 million Americans are receiving traditional state unemployment benefits, counting supplemental federal unemployment programs that were established to soften the economic damage from the virus. An estimated 20.1 million Americans are collecting some form of jobless aid. Closer to home in your Market Watch, recapping trading on the BISX from Wednesday. Your market movers: Cable Bahamas moving 1,000 shares, closing unchanged at $3.56. Kalina Holdings moving 2,300, down 20 cents to $5. Kalina Holdings Class A preference shares moving 250,000, closing at $1, unchanged. Consolidated Water up 4 cents, closing at $3.05. Emira Incorporated up 11 cents, closing at $10.38. The BISX All Share Index closing at 1,952.45, down 2.20. That's your Market Watch, and that is your morning business report, brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. It's time for a break, but when we come back, we are discussing minimum wage in the country. That's when Morning Blend Business returns here on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Hear that? That's the sound of your money working for you. Because at CFAL, we know you work hard for your money, so we make sure your money works hard for you. In 20 years as a leading investment firm, we've helped thousands of Bahamians grow their wealth and build a more stable future. With savings plans, pensions, and wealth services to suit everyone, whoever you are, whatever you do, we have financial solutions that will work hard for you. Visit or call us today to put your money to work. CFAL, seize your future today.
Boy, why you look so mashed up like clothes at the washer?
No, boy, just a hard day, boy.
Hard day? What happened? The breakfast lady ran out of tuna and gritty.
We need to start joking with everything, you know. This serious, boy. This real serious, boy.
Boy, what's serious? Tell me.
All right, well, today, boss gave us, boy, one big contract. And nobody else get a chance and nobody say nothing.
Boy, you know that ain't right. You know government contracts ain't supposed to go that way.
Yeah, but nobody's saying nothing. Boss man just tell people to sign the papers. Then he send me to meet this boy downtown and collect this envelope.
You need to tell somebody. You need to become a whistleblower.
You know I's a real man, but I never blow no whistle. I be drunk all my life and junk, you know.
No way. A whistleblower is someone who tells people what they see when they see something wrong happening at work.
But I ain't no whistleblower, and I ain't no snitch. I still white there, you know.
But ain't nobody can know it's you. All you gotta do is call Crime Stoppers, or you could text them from inside the Crack Crime Bahamas app. They don't ask about you. And your call goes straight through to Miami, so nobody know you is. And if you text, your message get mixed up like Kong salad.
Call 328-8477 from Nassau, or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands.
For the past 33 years, Great Commission Ministries has been defending the poor and hurting, feeding the hungry, and sheltering the homeless. We invite you to support our Live to Give program and make a difference in these challenging times. Become a donor by giving a one-time annual gift or a monthly donation of $50 or $100. Call Great Commission Ministries at 325-5801 for more details. Or visit our headquarters at 237 Wolf Road. Join Live to Give today. This public service announcement is proudly sponsored by this radio station.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
I need a dollar, 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 that's what I need. Hey, hey. Well, I need a dollar, 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 that's what I need. Hey, hey. Said I need a dollar, 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 that's what I need. And if I share with you my story, would you share your dollar with me? Bad times are coming and I reap what I done sowed. Hey, hey. Well, let me tell you something, all that glitters ain't gold.
We're back here with Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner. And as we said, we're going to be talking about the minimum wage. Our guest this morning is from the National Tripartite Council, Robert Farquharson. Good morning, sir. Great to have you with us.
Pleasant good morning.
All right. So we're going to get into the minimum wage in just a second, but just give, for those who might not be familiar with the National Tripartite Council, just tell us exactly what the council is all about, what you aim to do. What's the purpose?
Okay, the National Tripartite Council was established by an act of Parliament in 2015, and it's considered as a forum for industrial relations and employment relations in the Bahamas. It is based on the principles outlined in the ILO Convention 144, which is tripartite consultation. And the National Tripartite Council is designed whereby we have representatives from the social partners, which include the government of the Bahamas, includes the worker representative represented by trade unions, and the employers were represented by the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce and Employers Confederation. And our objectives are set out in Section 4 of the Act, and it's really to promote tripartism in the Bahamas through cooperation, consultation, negotiations, and compromise on the social partners in order to create economic policies and programs for the men and women and citizens of our country. And that's what we do. We come together as a group with opposing views, and we work together to make recommendations to the government to improve the quality of life and standard of living of all Bahamians.
Mm-hmm. How often do you all meet? How often is this?
The National Tripartite Council meets we are mandated to meet on a monthly basis. Sometimes we meet 3-4 times a month.
Mm-hmm.
And we have done, we have begun since 2015. We have had 2 strategic plans. We developed 3 strategic plans. And we, the last one was developed in 2018, and our statutory term ends in 2021 in June of this year. And we meet on a monthly basis. We are statutorily required to meet on a monthly basis, but like I say, sometimes we meet 3-4 times a month in order to get what has to be done.
Okay. All right. Excellent. Now, so let's get into our discussion today. So we know that this has been a hot issue it always is. Even after increases, people say it's not enough, but the minimum wage is always a hot button issue. We've got 2 different minimum wages right now. Is that right?
Not really. The Minimum Wage Act requires the government to set a national minimum wage. To date, that minimum wage is, if you are paid by the week, $210 by the week. If you are paid by the day, it's $42 by the day. And if you're paid by the hour, it's $5.25 an hour. Mm-hmm. That's your national minimum wage. The law says no employee in the country should be paid less than that. Now, the government itself has the minimum wage for its government employees, which is about $225. But there's only one national minimum wage.
Okay, $225.
That's for the government. That's for government employees only.
Right, but $210 in national. Okay, all right. Exactly. So now we all heard the PLP with their economic plan say that they propose to raise the minimum wage, the national minimum wage, quite a few dollars. Let's talk about that and what has been the response. What is the official response from the National Tripartite Council?
Well, there is no response from that. The PLP is a political organization. The National Tripartite Council does not react to political organization or political statements. As indicated, we are a statutory body. Now, the National Tribal Council has had on its agenda for the 2018-2021 period a review of the present national minimum wage. And that recommendation was submitted by one of the worker representatives sometime last year. And we have not had an opportunity to take up that recommendation as yet. As far as reacting to the recommendation outlined in the PLP's plan, the National Tribal Council has no response to it because, as indicated, the concept of increasing the minimum wage is done through a systematic approach. The last time we submitted recommendations to the government in 2018, to increase the minimum wage, it was done after extensive research, extensive collaboration at a local and regional and international level. We studied significant statistics and data from both in the Bahamas and the Caribbean and other parts of the world. We look at the retail price index, we look at the cost of living, we got views from the employers, from the workers, from Grand Bahama in the north, Nago in the south. And then we, based on the numbers and the data provided, we made a recommendation to the government that the minimum wage was increased. And it was increased by 40%. It became effective on August the 15th, 2018. Prior to that, the minimum wage was $150, and that was set in 2001. So between 2001 to 2015, the minimum wage set was $150 a week. And so you see, notwithstanding what political organizations make recommendations, it should be done through a systematic approach because it has impact on every employee in this country. So consideration must be given to all of those factors.
All right. Now, a member from the Chamber of Commerce speaking with the Tribune said that any increase at this time would be economic suicide. Economic suicide. What are your views, your personal views on that, if I can ask?
Well, like I said, I can't speak for any. I have not heard the response. And as indicated, that's the opinion of someone from the Chamber. Similar views were given the last time we increased minimum wage. That will be suicide, it will ruin small businesses. It will cause a lot of businesses to go to place, it will cause massive unemployment, and that was not the case. In 2015, when we did the research, we studied minimum wage increase in the United States, in Trinidad, in Guyana, in Jamaica, and when the minimum wage increased, it actually had a positive impact on the economy. And so I'm not saying what the situation will be if consideration is given this time, because each time you have to look at the overall economic of the country. And so I have no response to the statements made by the person from the Chamber of Commerce. I can only say that the last time the National Tribal Council did the inquiries on increase in minimum wage, we had similar sentiments from members of the business community. But in fact, when the minimum wage was increased, that did not occur.
Let's talk more.
Mr. Parkinson, sorry, Dwight, I have a question. Not really referring to what the Progressive Liberal Party is purporting or proposing should they become the next government, but based on your data, your research, when you compare us with other countries, maybe in the region, this $210 a week, and also factoring in our cost of living here in the Bahamas, do you find that this is fair, that this is very possible for people to live? I mean, and people make do, but can you really live off of $210, what, $840 a month?
Well, when you say live, there's a difference between a livable wage and a minimum wage.
Right.
I think you're talking about a livable wage. To date, there is no livable wage in the Bahamas. When we reviewed and compared the minimum wage in the Bahamas as compared to the Caribbean, the Bahamas, I think, had the highest minimum wage in the region. However, what you're speaking about is a livable wage. And the research to do a livable wage is far more extensive than has to be done with the minimum wage. Let me give you a quick analysis. The minimum wage is what we consider putting the persons who receive that at the best possible advantage compared to the present economic situation the ability of employers to pay. A livable wage, the minimum wage does not take into account other benefits like education, like insurance, like issues regarding healthcare and pension. Those are things that the livable wage takes into consideration. Very few countries in the world have what we call a livable wage. The highest livable wage to date is recorded, what we know, is in a country of Australia. Their livable wage is about $15 an hour. If you know, the United States has ongoing discussions now about increasing the national minimum wage to $15 an hour. And presently in the United States, it's $7.50. And so there is discussions going on throughout the world, in Europe, and particularly in the Caribbean, about a livable wage. So there are no Caribbean countries that has a livable wage, because the livable wage takes on other factors that's not included in the minimum wage.
Right.
And so when you see these political organizations come up with discussions on the minimum wage, you have to be very careful not to compare the two. Because if you look at a family today, $210 is extremely difficult for a family to survive on today. You have no argument for me on that. It's extremely difficult for persons to survive of making a minimum of $200. However, you also have to look at the small and medium-sized businesses who, if you significantly increase the minimum wage, that's unbearable for them. Consideration may have to be given, and said it will, may have to be given to the possibility of cutting operating costs. And so take into account that the cost of living in the Bahamas is extremely high. We have to look at other factors as well, the tax system in the Bahamas, the VAT system. All these different elements have to be considered when you're talking about establishing a livable wage. But to respond directly to your question, it's extremely difficult, but some people are doing it. They are doing it through the grace of God, through the help of family and other things. And so don't forget that the minimum wage only sets the minimum standards.
Right.
And many employers pay people above the minimum wage, but yet still you have a significant amount of employers would want to pay less than that, who are paying less than that. And that's a criminal offense.
Oh.
And so we have to be very, very careful. When we identify these offenses, the Department of Labor has a team that goes out and does certain investigations to determine exactly if persons are paying below the minimum wage.
Oh, dear.
Because it's extremely difficult to survive.
How
in
significant a
today's society.
number is that of people paying below the minimum wage?
Well, we have had some reports of persons paying $5 an hour, persons paying less than $210 a week. And they have excuses that they didn't know. And so much more work has to be done going into investigating these cases and having the ability to prosecute these employers.
All right, so you mentioned the cost of living, but does it ever come up before the council that perhaps there should be a regular cost of living increase if there is not going to be
yes. In fact, during the last recommendation regarding the minimum wage, the NTC made a recommendation to the then government that the minimum wage should be tied to the cost of living. So when the cost of living does go up in the Bahamas, the minimum wage automatically goes up. Our recommendation was not taken, but that is one of the recommendations that we could. We also made a recommendation that the minimum wage should be reviewed every 2 or 3 years to keep pace with the cost of living. And so those are some of the factors that also has to be considered and will be submitted whenever the council takes on the issue of increasing and reviewing the minimum wage.
Why hasn't that come into effect? Who's opposing that one? To
like I said,
review it every 3 years.
But like I said, that was a recommendation submitted during the last review of the minimum wage. And why it was not taken up, I'm not certain. But I know the NTC during the last minimum wage made a commitment that we will review the national minimum wage, and that's exactly what we're doing now. We're reviewing the national minimum wage to make sure it keeps pace with the cost of living.
I want to ask you. Go on.
Now, I'm saying the primary reason why we did not take up the review of the national minimum wage in 2020 was obviously the economic situation in the country did not allow it due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And it's extremely difficult when you have the unemployment rate went up extremely high. And so it would not have been feasible to look at reviewing and increasing the minimum wage.
Right.
And so that exercise was not done in 2020.
I want to go back to something you said about there were all the fears when we last increased the minimum wage, that there would be all this heartache, but we saw positive benefits from this. Let's talk about those. What were some of those that we saw?
Well, persons who make the minimum wage are usually pushed at the lower end of the economic scale. And to increase your take home from $150 a week to $210, an increase of 40%, those same persons, those hundreds and thousands of workers, would have then turned around and spent that money right back in the economy. So that additional 40% went right back in the mom and pop stores, went back in the food stores, went back to the gas stations, went back to the convenience stores. And that allowed economic activity to increase. And when economic activity increased, then unemployment was not impacted negatively. You had more money circulating in the economy. It's very difficult to make $210 a week and save. And so that money that was spent to increase the wages of the citizens of the Bahamas was put right back in the economy, and therefore it generated additional revenue for many business places and new opportunities.
We are some members doubting that could happen again if there is an increase, maybe in the next year or two, after we get over this hump of the pandemic.
But like I said, we have not taken this up as a matter of the council, but the council based its findings on facts and data. We would go to other countries and we would see what has happened in the past 3-4 years with minimum wage increase. We could go to individual states, the United States, we could go to Canada, and we go to other countries in the region and see what has happened. We know there has been some increase in countries in minimum wage in the past 5 years. So obviously we take a study, we determine what was done, and then we do a comparative analysis to see indeed if it was done in the Bahamas. And I cannot speak to what will happen. I can tell you, however, what the process is in ensuring that it happens.
Okay.
The concept of minimum wage, let's not forget, we have a workforce in the Bahamas of about 218,000 persons, right? About 55, 60,000 of those persons are represented by trade unions under collective pay bargaining, where trade union organizations collectively bargain for those people. And very few, if any of those 60,000 workers make the minimum wage. They make above the minimum wage because the trade union movement has been able to negotiate additional terms and conditions of employment. Therefore, they make above the minimum wage. And so we look at those persons who are not in the collective bargaining arena, and we make a determine how many of those persons are involved. And this is not Nassau-centric. We have to look at the Family Islands. We have to look at those communities because once the law sets for minimum wage, it sets throughout the Bahamas. We look at that small mom and pop store with 2-3 employees. Are they able to afford an increase from $210 to $250? Maybe they can. Maybe if they employ that, the people in the communities who live in those areas will also get that. Therefore, they will come to the store and spend more money in the store, more revenue in the store, and then the employer will be able to afford the increase for the employees. And that's why we have to look at. We take a holistic approach at the situation.
Right.
Mr. Farquharson, after reviewing your data, do you come up with, when you make your recommendation, do you come up with an exact figure or maybe a range? So let's say you say, based on this, we recommend anywhere between 210 and 225, or 210 and 230, or do you recommend an exact number to say, based on this data, in order for small and medium-sized businesses to continue to survive, we can't go, it has to be 210 or 215, or do you propose a range?
Yeah, we usually, like I said, when the data is received and reviewed, the discussions would range from the worker representatives, represented by the trade union movement, Commonwealth of the Bahamas Trade Union Congress, and the National of Congress Trade Union Bahamas. They submit their recommendations. And the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce and Employers Confederation consults with their members, which represents the business community. and we have debate, and the various ranges coming in and we come up with a final figure. When we submit it to the government, we come up with a final figure. However, ranges are considered. Let me give you a prime example of what's happening now. Right? We have a significant amount of persons, Bahamians have had, are now working in the maritime sector. And so we have membership or employees who own vessels in the maritime sector have asked me, made inquiries of me about the possibility of having minimum wages for categories of employees. Right? That's something that can be done as well. Certain categories of employees can, if we increase the minimum wage nationally, do we have a special minimum wage for those employees who work on ships? Because the employer's argument is this: you work on board a ship with me, you on the ship with me for 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, eh? I provide you with 3-4 meals a day. I provide you with room and board. I clean your clothes. I give you free internet. I give you all the amenities of the ship. I provide you with facilities to get paid. Should that not be considered when it comes to setting the minimum wage? That discussions have not happened at our level as yet. I'm saying what we have been approached to consider. You have persons who work in specialized industries, would have been able to generate significant tips and commission based on service. So their argument is, should the minimum wage be supplemented with the tips and wages? And these are all the factors that has to be considered. So it's just not one straight number at times.
So most of those people who are asking for that are seeking a lower minimum wage when they want those
Yes.
facts. Oh my.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
and so you can imagine paying someone less than $210 a week. It's
Because
then the
we
tip-
feed them.
And then if you do that, the tips also depends. The employee doesn't have control over who comes in the business.
Right.
Suppose the employer is not running the business efficiently or not marketing the business efficiently. Therefore, the tips are reduced. The opportunity to make money are reduced. And therefore, their take-home pay will be reduced. So, again, all of these factors have to be considered.
Wow. All right. That's a lot. All right. It's a good time to take a break. When we come back, we have a few questions coming in, and we're going to talk some more about the work of the National Tripartite Council with Robert Farquharson.
Yes.
This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9.
I need a dollar, that's what I need. Hey, hey. Well, I need a dollar, that's what I need. Hey, hey. Said I need a dollar, that's what I need. And if I share with you my story, would you share your dollar with me?
Hear that? That's the sound of your money working for you. Because at CFAO, we know you work hard for your money, so we make sure your money works hard for you. In 20 years as a leading investment firm, we've helped thousands of Bahamians grow their wealth and build a more stable future. With savings plans, pensions, and wealth services to suit everyone, whoever you are, whatever you do, we have financial solutions that will work hard for you. Visit or call us today to put your money to work. CFAO, seize your future today.
Boy, why you look so mashed up like clothes at the washer?
No, boy, just a hard day, boy.
Hard day? What happened? The breakfast lady ran out of tuna and gritty.
We need to start joking with everything, you know. This serious, boy. This real serious, boy.
Boy, what's serious? Tell me.
All right, well, today, boss gave us, boy, one big contract. And nobody else get a chance and nobody say nothing.
Boy, you know that ain't right. You know government contracts ain't supposed to go that way.
Yeah, but nobody's saying nothing. Boss man just tell people to sign the papers. Then he send me to meet his boy downtown and collect this envelope.
You need to tell somebody. You need to become a whistleblower.
You know I's a real man, but I never blow no whistle. I be drunk all my life and junk, you know.
No way. A whistleblower is someone who tells people what they see when they see something wrong happening at work.
But I ain't no whistleblower, and I ain't no snitch. I still white there, you know.
Boy, ain't nobody can know it's you. All you gotta do is call Crime Stoppers, or you could text them from inside the Croc Crime Bahamas app. They don't ask about you, and your call goes straight through to Miami, so nobody know you is. And if you text, your message get mixed up like Kong Salad.
Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands.
For the past 33 years, Great Commission Ministries has been defending the poor and hurting, feeding the hungry, and sheltering the homeless. We invite you to support our Live to Give program and make a difference in these challenging times. Become a donor by giving a one-time annual gift or a monthly donation of $50 or $100. Call Great Commission Ministries at 325-5801 for more details, or visit our headquarters at 237 Wolf Road. Join Live to Give today. This public service announcement is proudly sponsored by this radio station.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
And at 9:46, we've got your final look at weather for today. We've got a robust high-pressure system just north of the area that will continue to aid in generating fresh to strong breezes, along with choppy seas as it slides eastwards. Meanwhile, a weakening frontal boundary near the southeast Bahamas will shift northwards, enhancing shower activity there through tonight. We've got some special warnings. Small craft operators in the southeast Bahamas are urged to remain in port, and small craft operators who do venture out should be alert for possible waterspout activity associated with that front. Elsewhere, beachgoers everywhere should stay out of the water as we're expecting high seas, rough surf, and dangerous rip currents, and boaters should keep that in mind as well. And motorists and pedestrians throughout the country on north and eastern coastal roads should be exercising extreme caution due to hazardous conditions this morning and throughout the day. For today, for the northwest and central Bahamas, variably cloudy, warm, and windy with a light passing shower through tonight. Small craft advisory in effect. For the southeast Bahamas, mostly cloudy, warm, and windy with widely scattered showers and a slight chance of a few thunderstorms along the frontal boundary through tonight. Again, small craft operators should remain in port and expect gusty winds and high seas in or near heavy showers or thunderstorms. 75 degrees right now under partly cloudy skies in Nassau. Look for highs getting up to around 79 Fahrenheit, 26 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 66 Fahrenheit, 19 Celsius. For your weekend, winds and seas will begin to subside as high pressure gradually weakens across the area. Meanwhile, that front is expected to gradually dissipate across the southeast Bahamas through the weekend. So for Friday, variably cloudy, warm, and breezy with light passive showers. Saturday, partly sunny and warm with a chance of a few isolated showers as we gradually warm up heading into the weekend. And don't forget, we spring forward. We return to daylight time Sunday at 2 a.m. Don't forget to set your clock Saturday night before you go to sleep. That's your morning blend weather check.
I need a dollar, 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 that's what I need. Hey, hey. Well, I need a dollar, 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 that's what I need. Hey, hey. Said I need a dollar, 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 that's what I need. And if I share with you my story, would you share your dollar?
And we are back here with Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner. We are talking with Robert Farquharson with the National Tripartite Council. We're talking about the minimum wage in the country today. And if you have any questions, you can tweet us at morningblend969 or facebook.com/morningblend969 or text us 422-4796. You can also call in 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. All right, we're getting an interesting text here, Robert Farquharson. Somebody's asking, looking at the population, do we know how many people actually qualify? And modifying their text a little bit. You don't have an answer to that one.
I'm sorry, hey, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, do you have any numbers as to how many people at this time are actually making the minimum wage? Do we have any idea at all?
No, it's difficult for us at the council to do that. I'm certain that the National Insurance Board I don't know, maybe the Department of Statistics may be able to tell you that. But it's extremely difficult for, we don't have the data to articulate those exact numbers. But when we do our research, we will get that to ensure know what kind of people, what kind of numbers we're talking about.
Right. Now, you've been in this thing for a long time, the labor movement, and so you know this is the quick argument from most in the private sector side, especially in retail, that fine, we just will have to lay off people or not hire as many people. How often are you convinced that is necessary, especially when you say with more people with money in their hands, they might be more willing to spend money? Is that just a default argument, or do you really believe that is what could happen if we do look at increasing the minimum wage?
I think it depends on the economy. I think it depends on the economy. And that's one of the reasons why consideration was not given to even increasing the minimum wage during 2019, 2020 period, because the economy was in a depressed state as a result of Hurricane Dorian. After Hurricane Dorian, it was COVID-19, so it would have been, I think, unreasonable to consider increasing the minimum wage during that period. However, I can assure you, employers will always have this cry that increase the minimum wage will cause a negative impact. But the numbers does not show that. In South America, it didn't show that. In the Caribbean, it didn't show that. In Europe, it didn't show that. But there's always a claim. If you look at the Republican Party in the United States, that's their cry now. Increasing the national minimum wage from $7.50 to $15 will have significant impact, negative impact on the economy. The statistics does not reflect that, particularly when you have a growing economy. If you have an economy that's 1% to 2% growth, it could have a negative impact. But based on the outlook, the economic outlook that we see in our country, once the tourism product comes back online, the expansion of the projects that comes online, I believe that an increase in the minimum wage will not necessarily cause unemployment and employers to lay off. As was foreshadowed in 2015, 2016, when it was finally done, it did not reflect a downward trend in unemployment. It did not reflect redundancies. In fact, the unemployment rate went down. And when the when the minimum wage came into effect, the unemployment rate dropped from about 14% over the next 2-3 years to about less than 10%. And so the statistics does not reflect that.
That's interesting. Wow. Let's take this call, and then we'll get to some of these other text messages coming in. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning.
Hi.
In relation to, minimum wage having an impact, what the gentleman was just saying was a coincidence, because what happened was that the economy grew at that time, and that's why we had a decrease in unemployment, even though the minimum wage was going up. So you can't compare apples to oranges. You have to, you have to adjust for all factors.
Yeah,
and
he did say that. He did say the economy grew, and so it depends on the economy.
Right, exactly. So that is, you have to take the same size economy to see whether there is an impact from an introduction of minimum wage or an increase in minimum wage. All other factors have to be kept constant. Otherwise, you don't know what you're looking at. So the point is that in all cases where this has been applied, there has been a reduction in employment simply because, if you do the thought experiment and you think about it for a minute, say that, let's be generous. Let's stop fooling around, and let's just say, let's make minimum wage $100 an hour.
Hey, can you pick up that call, please? Come to me.
And if you make minimum wage $100 an hour, then do you really think that it would have no effect on who is employed. I mean, put it this way: would you be willing to pay someone to wash your car for $100 an hour because that's the minimum wage? Every time you increase the minimum wage, somebody loses a job. That
But you're
is
going
the
to the
reality of it.
extremes, though. You're going to the extremes. So this discussion involves maybe up to $40 a week. Is it going to be that impactful in the grand scheme of things?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, yes, I know I'm using an extreme example, but this is just a thought experiment. If you do go to that example and you look at it, you start to see that the higher the minimum wage goes, the less effective it is in terms of increased unemployment. It's the same as taxation. There is a thing called the Laffer curve in economics, after the gentleman who first discovered it, where he showed between taxation of 0% to 100% how much tax was actually collected. And they found out that, of course, with 0%, you collected no taxes at all. And with 100%, you collected no taxes at all either, because nobody wanted to work, because they had to give it all to the government. And so the sweet spot was around 30%. That was where you could realize the largest amount of tax dollars. Similarly with minimum wage, once you go past that sweet spot, you're going to find that people, this money is not come out of thin air.
Right.
This money has to be earned through a business or whatever. And if they can't afford to pay as many employees as before, they're going to give the existing employees more work to do and let go of some. And as it turned out in Portland, Oregon, 1/3 of the workforce was let go, and the other 2/3 had to take up the slack.
Okay.
And
All right, let's
they were
get...
more high paid. And that's how it works.
Okay, thank you very much, caller. Appreciate it. Extreme examples, though, but Robert Farquharson's interesting views there.
Certainly.
But
and he's quite correct, and that's why when I spoke earlier, you cannot just increase minimum wage in a vacuum. You have to consider all of the factors, and that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But he went to the far right extreme, and nobody is saying that's going to happen. If you increase minimum wage by 400% in the Bahamas, hundreds of small and medium-sized businesses will automatically go out of business.
Yeah.
However, if you increase it more moderately, depending on the economic situation, the growth of the economy, then it is a win-win situation.
all right, this text here: retail is already dying. Raising minimum wage without addressing the cause of death is ludicrous. All right, well, not just retail, but I mean, things are changing in the country, in the world. The way we purchase items, especially after the pandemic, that will likely change forever. Do those things need to be factored in? The fact that we are ordering more and getting things delivered more. Do we need to keep that in mind when we talk about issues like the minimum wage?
Yes, certainly you have to be, and that's one of the things. When I said earlier, there are so many small businesses, which is the backbone of our economy, and that's a lot of the retail business. And so that factor must be taken in. Since the pandemic, we have had so many increase in e-commerce, persons ordering things without having to go to a brick and mortar store. So the retail business is on the decline. Then what is the retailer doing? How are they reacting to the change in the economy? How are they reacting to the method used by persons to purchase goods and services now? And so consideration also has to be given to that. There has been an increase in home delivery service,
Yep.
Persons now doing businesses, ordering and have persons picking up and shopping for them and delivering to their homes. So all of these factors have to consideration, and that's when I said earlier, maybe we need to look at different categories of minimum wage. All of these factors, because in many Caribbean countries, particularly in the Jamaicas and in the Guyanas, we have different categories of minimum wage. Persons in this sector make this minimum wage. Places in this sector make this minimum wage. And so all of these factors have to be considered because in order for our country to be sustained, we must have a robust small business sector.
I see the phone lines are all lit up, but we are out of time. Robert Ferguson, I hope you will keep us posted on any developments with the discussions on the Tripartite Council on this.
Yes.
But thank you so much for your time this morning.
Just one other thing. The Tripartite Council also look at the other productivity. We have submitted a recommendation to the government to increase the productivity in our country because too many places come to work and not producing like we used to produce. In order for us to have a competitive economy, all workers must be able to produce at a higher level.
Wow. Okay, we're going to have you back on that one. That sounds like something I don't know what the government will do on that, but that's, oh boy, that's a whole show, and we hope to talk to you about that very soon. Robert Ferguson, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Laverne Gardner, always a pleasure. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, likewise.
We'll talk again next week, and I'll be back tomorrow morning with more Morning Blend business right after Morning Blend, 9 o'clock here, following the show at 6:15 here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan, have a great one on the clock with Aaron Green coming up next.